It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner Funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, back at it. Good to be here. Rothman and Ice. Back with the boys. Matty Ice to my right. Loose cannon behind the glass. Good to see you, fellas.
It's great to see you again, my man. It really is. You know, we get spoiled at Jack's place. We always talk about when you go on maybe an extended vacation, you use some of that PTO, you're coming back, and it's a little bit of a grind to get going again. You know, you go out to Jack's place, and especially at the program, at the halfway house, and Chef John and the gang's taking care of us, and you come back to these studios, which, look, the studios are nice, but it's different being out there at Jack's place, getting spoiled, especially the way you get spoiled, my man. It's good to see you again. How you feeling? You good?
Candle's been burned at both ends, man.
Okay.
I am...
flu game?
No, not a flu game.
Oh.
I would not come in here and expose you to something intentionally. But, no, it's one of those things. Had to, do the warm glow shuffle back to Chi-Town for a couple different things. And so a couple good things, couple not so great things, but other than that, it's I'm hurting.
Okay.
For good reasons, you know. It's
You've been grinding,
I pushed myself, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday out at the course, and certainly that was premium, as you say. It's one of those deals at Memorial that for people that have been going, know the tradition of it, they know how well they're treated out there, and most importantly, you're getting to see the best in the world. I was asked a million times about LIV versus PGA Tour. No one has an answer for this. Nobody has an answer. You know why? Because there's just not enough money to compete. They're giving these guys some guaranteed money. Yeah. They've sold the traditions of the tour and some events like Jack's Place and other places. They've gone to a signature level, but other lesser tournaments that have been played for decades upon decades that people used to want to win and be a part of. I've fought the good fight. Mm-hmm. The money is unrelatable, and it's uncomparable, and you cannot do it. You can't. So if you tell me that there are certain ways on the PGA Tour that they want to guarantee guys $50, $100 million to play golf, God bless you. But you know what I said? Good riddance. If you guys want to go take the money and go play 54 holes of exhibition golf, I'm not here to tell you anything different. Plus, they can have their cake and eat it too, because now they can play in the majors. If the majors would have shut them out, that would have been different. But most fans, at the end of the day, want to see the best in the world competing. No one's going to deny that Rory not being there hurt. It did. It didn't change the fact that Scheffler was brilliant and that the guys that were fighting him were a collection of underdogs that I can certainly get behind and root for. The Ben Griffin's guy, his story, a guy being almost blind, having detached retinas and seeing floaters and wearing his, state trooper sunglasses throughout and trying to grind his way through and then making that eagle at 15 and then the long bird at 16 and then getting within shouting distance of Scheffler, put a little heat on him. The one thing that you could not get Scott Scheffler to do was somehow screw up. He doesn't have a bad day in him. I don't get it. Now, he did shoot 74 a year ago on Sunday and won. Beat Morikawa by one stroke, shooting 74. But he needed Scheffler to not be able to get up and down somewhere early. And the other thing you cannot do, you cannot three-putt when you're in the middle of the green like he was on 4. I'm talking about Ben Griffin. You cannot do those things because it's too big of a grind. The guy's too strong. He's too talented. He doesn't need to listen, when he hits fairways, it's a different game because he is so deadly long. But even when he doesn't and you think he's going to bogey a hole, his putter has come back. A couple years ago, the putter was a weakness. Changed to the claw grip. He seems pretty comfortable with that. And he's making 8-10 footers, saving for par, and that's how they do it out there. So he is brilliant. There's no denying it. But having Rory there would have made a difference for people. Mm-hmm. And no one could guarantee whether Rory was going to be good that week or not. And schedules are schedules. I was a little surprised that Jack did publicly say that he was disappointed that Rory didn't reach out. But good for him. If he wants to be that honest and that candid, and it's his tournament, then he's entitled to tell you what he thinks. But I was a little shocked he didn't go down the road of, hey, Guy's been a little busy since sealing up the Grand Slam and winning his first Masters. I'm sure I'll talk to his people. We know he'd be here if he could, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and God bless Jack for saying it. But they got a defending champ, which they haven't had since Tiger.
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. That's when Tiger did it at Jack's place. And, yeah, Scottie is he's Thanos right now with all the Infinity Stones. He's got everything in his bag. He's got the ability to crawl out of holes. You mentioned the up and downs. We saw that on Sunday. And it's also just the intimidation, I think, that he has out there on tour. I don't think guys would ever admit it, but how could you not be intimidated, especially if you're a guy like a Ben Griffin, or what do we have, Nate Taylor, the Canadian up there, guys that really aren't used to being in those.
Giuseppe Straka.
Nicknamed him.
Yes.
Those type of guys that aren't consistently in the mix, either leading tournaments or being paired with a guy like that on Sunday, it's got to wreck your nerves just a little bit. But what we're seeing from this guy is nothing short of incredible, and he is just the face of the sport, but more importantly, he's a dominant face of the sport. And so there's some other guys out there that we know are household names that are really, really good. But this guy right now is just cleaning up, it seems like, in every single tournament. Now we're starting to stack up years of this type of dominance. And when you do that, that's when you really set yourself apart from the field that you're currently in and from a lot of the other players that played in the history of the game.
Statistically, he owns so much. And the other part about his game, which I just mentioned, which is if you talked about the greatest scramblers on tour, the guys that don't hit a lot of greens, they can get up and down and find a way to make a score, that's him too. Like, he's number one in scrambling on the PGA Tour.
Wow.
Like, this isn't just fairways and greens, and he hits a lot of them. And it's just, that's the weird part. He's like third in hitting greens, and when he doesn't hit greens, he's number one in scrambling. So there's like no weakness right now. And it's a crazy deal. The one thing that was the craziest, and you and I have talked about this before, and the one guy they needed is if Spieth would have made that run, and somehow he also tried to take somebody's head off.
I did see that video. And you know that's one of my biggest fears, if not the biggest fear that I have of going to a golf. Because it's rare that you see guys on tour shank it that bad. But the you-know-what that it takes from golf fans to have the confidence in those guys to not send one at your dome or body when you're that close is really shocking to me. So more power to all the golf fans that do that. But when I saw that video, I was like, yep, that's why I'm not getting that close. I don't care how good these guys are. It can happen to anybody.
Of course.
And then you're losing an eyeball.
They're human beings, and they're coming out of rough where you can't see the ball. You don't know what the face of that club's going to do. I know they're the best of the best of the best.
They are.
And it's the trusting factor that the fan has. And I don't understand how tournaments allow it.
To get that close.
Well, the liability is on you. You bought the badge. You bought the ticket. You go in there. It's like going to a baseball game. It says on the back of your ticket.
Pay attention.
You get zinged with a Rawlings, it's on you. Yeah. No one wants that to happen. And they did put up the netting.
Which is extended out a long ways now when you go to a baseball game.
And so who wants to be there, especially at a baseball game? At least the golf fan seems fairly focused on the shot. At a baseball game, you're very relaxed. Beer in hand, sitting down, hot dog, nachos, talking to people, looking at your phone. Like, you need that netting. You want that netting.
But you said something last week when we were at the tournament. Like, if you're a fan, do yourself a favor. Come on out and get to a tee box and watch these guys launch from the tee box. Yeah. When you do that and you hear and see the velocity of that golf ball coming off that club face, it's spooky, man, when you think about how high speed or how much velocity these guys get with launching those golf balls off the tee. So hopefully nothing ever happens to where we're talking about this being a horrific situation. But, man, I just don't know how we haven't run into those type of things, especially when it's so tight and so close to where these golfers are hitting golf balls from. Like, these guys are hitting golf balls at minimum. What, they are 100-plus miles an hour?
It's
easy?
Ball speed on those guys.
It's crazy.
It's honestly, it is scary, and it's probably even scarier for the amateur to play in that pro-am.
Oh,
like,
goodness.
That's,
Yeah, when you're playing with the Steph Currys of the world and Ryan Day and Nick Saban.
I don't want to be anywhere near people. I'm parallel or behind.
Back up.
That's the phrase of the day, parallel or behind.
I feel you, man.
But, it's funny. So when I got done with Wednesday and then by Saturday, Tyler, our great digital guy, is
awesome.
texting me and saying, hey, I just want to let you know that your interview with Jimmy Butler has gone viral on Chinese Instagram.
And
I'm like, well, I guess I won't be going there. I'll be too famous. The funniest part about it is this is such a throwaway nothing. And it just reminds me of everyone is looking for content anywhere they can get it.
Yeah.
When I asked him about if he had a game-winning shot and had to pass the ball off, you got anybody in history, I caught him off guard for sure. Mm-hmm. But to his credit, he sat there and he thought about it for a couple of seconds. And then he gave not the correct answer, but he gave the right answer. He said right now. He goes, right now, Jimmy Butler. So everyone, I guess, was now saying how much he wants Jimmy to be great out there and they want to play together and all that. And the Warriors picked it up and everyone picked it up and they've stolen the video. And I said to Tyler, hey, when they thieve video, some videos you want stolen. And that was one of them. So now I think I need to contact Jimmy Butler. And say, how about a signed jersey for the old Play for Pause charity outing? I'm the one that asked the question.
I'm here for that.
Elicited the great answer.
I'm here for that. I also think, and I this is me being a bad teammate, so forgive me on this, but I thought I saw that Pro Football Talk picked up on something. I think it was your Larry Fitzgerald interview where the Olympic stuff was in there. Don't hold me to that. This is bad on my part. But I was reading something on Pro Football Talk, and there in the article, it does say something about 97.1 The Fan. It does not mention our show.
Reporter?
Something like that. I'm going to find it because I hate that I'm bringing this up and I don't have the evidence for you, but I did see something that I think came from your Larry Fitzgerald interview. And Florio and the gang picked up on it, but did not name you or the show.
That wasn't memorable enough for you to remember who said it?
It's my bad. I'm dropping it.
Then
97.1 The Fan, man on the street, talked to Larry Fitzgerald.
That's right. That's what I am.
I got to find this for you, AR.
Man on the street. And then, I was talking to Larry Fitzgerald about the Super Bowl, and I reminded him, and TLC probably loved this, I reminded him about the Super Bowl against the Steelers, and that he had what looked to be the go-ahead touchdown with 2:30 and change to go. And that led to the Roethlisberger-Santonio Holmes. And we started reminiscing about all the Buckeyes that he's played with and is known in the league, and that Santonio Holmes stole that Super Bowl from him. He had that Super Bowl. And then I guess we tweeted out that clip that, because I say in the video playfully, boy, a lot of Buckeyes still in your head, know. And we tweeted out saying, like, there are Buckeyes living in Larry's head. And then he liked the deal. He liked it with a couple of emojis today on Twitter. So, hey, we treated him to a pretty good time here.
We did. And you were just putting in work, man. You did a good job with all those interviews. You killed it, man.
No.
I got to find this for you.
There's it's one of those things where the Jimmy Butler one is not the right answer. Well, it's right for him at the time. He was a good teammate.
That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
He's playing the game, backing one of his guys. But, Steph, we give him some truth serum.
Come on, man.
Stop lying, big dog.
Said the correct answer was his coach.
He's done it.
We'll come back. We got a nice show for you today. We'll talk to our boy Brendan Deeg from The Score. We got Adam Jardy, catch up on Buckeye Hoops recruiting. And are we headed for a breakup? Not the one you think. And we may have another media feud. We'll tell you about that next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 five-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
When you shop at Meijer, you can always count on getting a good deal more with your shopping experience. And this week is no different. Earn a $10 coupon when you spend $100 or more in-store now through Saturday. Coupon will be printed at checkout. Then simply redeem your $10 coupon anytime the following week, June 8th through the 14th. Bringing more home for a good deal less. Welcome to the It Pays to Shop at Meijer Good Life. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, get 50% off your windows. That's half off, plus no interest, no payments for 12 months, and a free entry door with your window purchase. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
What a day ahead we have. It is going to heat up as our temperatures climb in the mid to upper 80s with mostly sunny skies, and it'll be breezy. You'll also notice some haze from that wildfire smoke. As we go into tonight, partly cloudy with lows down into the 60s and even hotter on Wednesday. Don't forget the sunglasses and the sunscreen as our highs approach right around 90 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, kids. Anthony once did magic for birthday parties. See, when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound so bad. Back to Rothman and Ice.
And I'm for hire again. Just putting it out there.
Hey, folks, I want to tell you about a cool event coming up because you should join us for the inaugural 97.1 The Fan, The Race, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. It's a 5K run and 1 mile walk happening June 21st at Otterbein University in Westerville. If we can do it, you can do it. Some of your favorite fan personalities will be there, including Tyvis Powell, Common Man T-Bone, Eric Reeser, and more. And yes, 10 TV's Adam King will be running the race, and apparently AK is going to do this in a suit and tie. Every participant gets a finisher's medal, a race shirt, free photos, and awesome gifts from Logan Services and Raising Cane. Sign up today at 971thefan.com. Again, you can sign up today at 971thefan.com.
When I heard about the Belichick buyout dropping by $9 million from $10 million to $1 million on June 1st, the one thing that popped up into my mind was, why was this allowed? Why would they enter into something like this knowing full well you haven't even coached a game yet, and we're going to set up? Did they want him so badly
because he's Bill Belichick?
They agreed to drop this to $1 million.
That's it.
So he could walk out on them?
To me, that would be the answer to your question. It's Bill Belichick, one of the best head coaches in football, in the history of football. And you go from Mac Brown, who did some pretty good things, and then you're questioning yourself as a program and saying, can we keep this momentum going? Can we keep North Carolina on the map and not just be viewed as solely a basketball program? And so when you start connecting with Bill Belichick and he started laying out some of the things that he would want, he and his agent, then I think you're going to bend the knee to some of this stuff because of who he is.
Clearly that happened. Where's the commitment at all? I mean, I understand you have to have these things. You have to have certain buyouts. Things change. Maybe he won't be good and they'll want to walk away from him. But the fact that he's a 73-year-old guy who negotiated a clause that sees the number drop to $1 million as of the other day, I guess it was uncovered right after he got hired. So this isn't like brand new news. It's only new because it happened a couple days ago. This feels like an escape hatch for him.
Little parachute.
And now I never thought about it from their point of view, which is this dude is off the rails right now, and he's got a girlfriend that seems to be pulling all the strings. And did we sign up for something that we didn't know was going to happen? But I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, he chose college over the pros. Not that he had a million offers from the pros, but it just is weird. I mean, buyouts are there for a reason. We're committing to something. If you change your mind, then we should be financially compensated for it. Just weird they would do it, but you're right. They probably thought, when would we ever have a shot at a guy like this ever again?
Yeah.
And let's take it, and now we'll see. And I'm not here to tell you he's not going to make it to the season. It sounds like he is going to make it to the season because their relationship, even though it's been a talking point for a while, and anybody out there could admit it's strange. Of course it's strange. And then I don't know if you guys heard this, but, we were citing Pablo Torre and his reporting on it, and then he got that Ring camera.
Oh, he's all over this situation, man.
But it's funny because Bill Simmons, did you see, just went after him?
Well, I did see that. Bill's a Boston guy at his core. He's a Patriots fan, Celtics fan, Bruins fan, Red Sox fan. You get it. And so him, that being Pablo Torre, probably coming after a guy that he idolizes in Bill Belichick, he's not going to stand for that. But Pablo Torre seems to be very dug in and confident in the stuff that I'm throwing out there and the things that myself and my team have investigated when it comes to Bill. He thinks they hold a lot of weight and that they are true. And so the back and forth between these two guys is fascinating. Two guys. Does Pablo Torre still work at ESPN? AR?
He does his own thing.
He's doing his own thing now.
I guess he's going on Simmons' podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he basically said, I'll go on or whatever, because Simmons just ripped him to shreds on spending a week. Because I've never seen anybody dine on a stupider story for a week and a half while pretending you're a journalist. What the blank was that, seriously? Belichick's dating a girl. Oh, let me do 9 shows about it. Settle the blank down. You don't need to do a media tour about a blanking podcast. That's Simmons.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hear what he's saying, but from Pablo Torre's stance, a lot of people have been going over to his YouTube channel and clicking on some of these things that he's throwing out there because there's a lot of people curious about this whole story. And that's the unfortunate part if you are North Carolina, is that now you have been the story of the offseason, and it has nothing to do with your football program and the X and O stuff, which is the most important part and why you brought this dude in. There's probably not a lot of people right now that can name a single player that is on this roster for North Carolina. Not a single player because of his girlfriend and Bill being the face of this thing, which, look, in some people's eyes and maybe the program's eyes, it's not a bad thing because what they've seen quickly is the turnaround in ticket sales and how season tickets for the 2025 season are already sold out. So they're probably sitting back and saying, okay, this isn't the best look for us, but at the end of the day, when you get down to brass tacks, hey, we're putting butts in seats, and hopefully winning comes along with it. AR, I would be very surprised if we're talking at this point next year, if he's the head coach of this football program. It just doesn't seem like any type of long-term plan, the marriage between Belichick and North Carolina. There were the rumors out there, too, that the reason why he wanted to hop into this mix in Chapel Hill is to bring along his son and maybe hand the keys over to his son, Steve, who is the defensive coordinator at North Carolina. Is he going to be ready to be a head coach? I don't know. But that theory is out there that Bill just wanted to get over there, show face, put some ticket sales through the roof, hopefully win a couple games in year one and say, hey, I want to hand this off to my boy and have him run the show and have him be a head coach at a Power 4 program. I don't know. We shall see, but that would not surprise me if at this point next year we're talking about Bill not being in the mix and maybe him trying to throw his power around and have Steve, his son, be the new head honcho for the Tar Heel football program.
This is not just a head coach dating somebody that's 50 years younger. It's not that. It's maybe the most famous coach that's ever lived.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why Bill Simmons suddenly feels that this is a non-story, or I've never heard. Listen, Pablo Torre's come on, he did Around the Horn forever, just giving their opinions. When was Pablo Torre ever the benchmark of journalism? I don't ever remember that.
Me either.
I don't remember him ever touting himself as that, but I feel it. I'd have to go back. I mean, I don't listen to Bill Simmons. I'm sure he's very knowledgeable, big NBA guy.
He's great.
I've been watching him on the Celtic City. But what I don't understand is why he thinks that every single thing that's come out of his mouth somehow has some journalistic benchmark. So I feel it's kind of weird. I think it's what you said. He probably likes Belichick, probably thinks like he's being humiliated, he's doing a lot of that on his own.
Yeah.
And how does Belichick not think that this is fair game? First of all, this is the most transcendent story in sports right now. It absolutely is. Number one on the hit list for people, like you say, that have no interest in sports, but know who he is, know who he's dating. He's back in the game. The oddest part about all this, I think he's like 10 wins away from Shula, or 13 or 14 if you add playoffs to total wins. And you and I were both just completely blown away by the fact that he didn't. I would have lost a lot of money in that, because I would have bet on that that's the one thing he wants to do and then sail off.
I still think he's going to do it. I still think he's going to come back to the NFL and try to chase that. I think you'd be a fool not to try to chase that record with how great he's already been. To add that last feather to your cap, you got to go get that if you're Bill Belichick. The question is when you look at the way that he ran the show in New England, where he was the end-all, be-all, everybody had to kiss his feet, everybody had to answer to him, is that something that you want if you're an owner in the NFL? Because you saw with your own eyes that when he didn't have Tom Brady, it didn't work at the clip that you wanted it to, and Bill did bring in some questionable personnel decisions on offense. You look at how he identified or didn't identify talent, especially at the quarterback position. Can you really trust that guy to run the show? And I don't know if there's going to be a bunch of owners lining up to give him that same type of power. And on the flip side of that, I'm sure Bill's going to want to ask for that because that's all he knows. So, yeah, this whole situation, you're right. When it comes to football right now, especially college football, this is the story as we're just a few months out from the season starting. But they got to get this cleaned up over there, and because this is not what you wanted when you are on the board at North Carolina, is this type of stuff floating around your program.
The great irony of all of it is that Belichick, of all people, seemed so no-nonsense, no distraction, eye on the prize. I'm not going to get dragged into any stupid
days off. He's chanting no days off at a Super Bowl parade. That's who we're talking about.
The hype.
Can't even celebrate.
And he is in a relationship that clearly is causing the biggest distraction to his commitment. I said it before. If he wasn't coaching and this was him in retirement, living his best life, all power to him. But the second he entered into committing to coaching teenagers again and guys that are trying to make the NFL at 73, let's see the commitment level. All right, we'll come back. Couple minutes. And Deion Sanders commenting on his son's slide. Did he respond to this certain accusation? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. purplewave.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge.
Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should've known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony once got Jack Nicklaus to quote the movie Caddyshack, so he's got that going for him.
The last time I saw a mouth like that, I had a hook in it.
Which is nice. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Let's go while we're young.
Look at the season here, right? Because this story will continue to be talked about this way until Shadur Sanders shows he can play at the pro level. We think he'll get a shot. He should. There's nothing truly established in Cleveland. They have a veteran that makes them sleep well at night, and Flacco for now. And then if they had to play a game and they rolled him out, Matty, he'd be competent. You would expect that. You wouldn't, would he make mistakes? Of course, but at least he'd know what to do. And you'd feel good handing him the keys to start a season, but it's not the future. He's not. And so until we know whether Shadur or Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett has what it takes, and can they build around him and ball control this thing to success, because all three of them seem to be that guy. But Deion has now addressed the pre-draft reports that were attacking Shadur, and maybe they were attacking him. I don't know, maybe that's a strong word, maybe accusing him or whatever it was about being unprofessional or not being committed or whatever, however you want to describe it, maybe too casual, not being, or unprepared. There was a lot of stuff that was being thrown around. And so we don't really know why he dropped that far. We can only make the assumption that made the rounds, that it wasn't a pure, well, we just don't think he's good enough. Like there had to be a mixture of all of that. And then Cleveland pounced when they saw the value was there and too much to pass up. Not that Dylan Gabriel is a guaranteed thing anyway, but we've talked about this, and I've said it a million times. They obviously think more of Dylan Gabriel in the draft process than they did of Shadur Sanders. But now they're both there, and they can fight it out, and hopefully they'll get to fight it out. This was on whose podcast, Maddie?
Asante Samuel, the former, speaking of Bill Belichick, New England Patriot corner, who was a good player for a while. And, yeah, Deion was on his pod and had this to say about the old pre-draft process.
I think a couple of people who may have taken shots at my kids, they were afraid that I would go. That's where the shots came from. All you got to do is just sit back and listen. And people don't want to do that. They want to create these narratives and create these stories and then attach them to a kid that ain't never done nothing wrong.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when you see your colleagues or your peers going in on you, man. Like, how does that make you feel?
No idea, man. You have no idea. They've always been in front of the camera, so they know how to navigate. They know how to handle themselves.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not. When you sit up there and say something like he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shadur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me
every situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones.
So you a dog, your kid's a dog, and dogs gonna always rise to the top. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. You know what I mean? You're talking about
it did hurt.
So listen, it's emotional. It's his son. He watched him slide. I don't think he's the one that touted him. A lot of people thought he was a first round talent, and certainly had moments at Colorado where he looked the part. Certainly. I guess my question is, was Deion dismissing the headphones thing?
It sounded like that to me.
Almost like, so what if he had them on?
No.
Or that he thought they were lying?
I think it's the latter.
Okay.
That he's not buying at all that his son would go into that professional setting and have headphones either on, around his neck. I don't know. But that's kind of the tone I got from Prime right there, is that he doesn't believe his son would do that.
Boy, it's interesting. When I first heard it, I felt like he said, like he was like, listen, you're going to go that low, and that's the reason he wasn't picked, is that he had headphones on. I took it that way at first, but your interpretation makes a lot of sense too, that he was dismissing it even happened. Maddie, there was a reason he fell. Like, he couldn't have fallen that far on talent or lack of that alone, right? Like, what made him fall like that?
Only these GMs and scouts would know. To me, and just my amateur eye, I thought he was much better than a 5th-round quarterback. The likes of Mel Kiper and some others, Mel did as his number 1 quarterback on the board. We played a clip from Kurt Warner to where he talked about how good he was and what his Hall of Fame eye saw. But he was strictly talking about X's and O's. Nobody knows, and nobody will ever know the real of what happened in those meetings. It's only Shadur and those teams. To me, it doesn't even really matter that much anymore. He's got a home. You laid out the situation that he is in front of him, and that's got to be his sole focus. And I think that will be his sole focus. And you look and you read some of the things that he says and his actions and what he's been doing in Cleveland. It seems like this dude's headed down the right path and wants to be a good teammate and be a part of something special. And if that's him being the guy, which surely he wants and what all those guys want, and I'd look at him sideways if those guys didn't want to be the guy. But I think he is going to be a good teammate. And I don't really think that we're going to be talking much about these major distractions. And I think the distraction, it can be defined different for people. There's always going to be people that don't love the way that he and other athletes go about their business out there on the field. I don't mind those things as long as you're putting in the work, you're there for your guys, you're backing your guys, and you're there when it counts. Those are the things that I really count on as a fan of just sports or a fan of my own team. That's what I invest in. And so I do think that he's going to be able to handle the noise. Whatever that noise is, how loud the noise is, we shall see. But the whole pre-draft process at this point is just he said stuff. We're never going to get the answers. So me personally, I'm not going to go crazy about what I think happened or what didn't happen. Deion, as a lot of dads and parents would do, I think would go out and protect and back their kids. That's not surprising to hear that from them until we hear from somebody on record that's a GM, scout, owner, that he did this exactly, which will never happen. I'm not going to go crazy about this because now it's just all about him being a Cleveland Brown, and it's all about ball from here on out.
Seems to be. Right. I think we can probably get past this part. I would love, as long as he was going on, I would have loved to have heard a little more of a dig in on that. Just, okay, so just for the record, do you feel like your son went into those coming off arrogant or disinterested or I'm the man or whatever? I don't know. But the last time I checked, the NFL loves talent. So he either fell because he fell for a couple of reasons. And he fell because either his pre-draft analysis was off somehow, and that was discovered, whether it was he doesn't have an elite arm, or he doesn't have as much athleticism as we thought, or he doesn't have the size that we like in a quarterback. It could be that, or it could be that they were turned off somehow.
Which I think is a mistake if you are an NFL team that needed a quarterback and you flushed everything as far as who he was as a player down the toilet based off of one interview.
Some of the reports that were critical of him in the pre-draft preparedness came from some legitimate reporting, because when Deion said what he said, which is, guys, I didn't hear a lot of it amongst the big boys. But here's the NFL Network's Tom Pelissero cited an NFL assistant coach, obviously didn't name him, who called Sanders' interview with his team, quote, the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. Others, like the headphones rumor that Deion referenced, appear to have come out of thin air. And Deion was obviously, as you heard in that thing, was kind of perplexed by it. Like, that's ridiculous. My son is as prepared as any quarterback I've ever been around. Obviously, it is his son. He's biased. But so it's interesting. But you're exactly right. We're here now, and that's why I can't come soon enough. But I've never seen a projected first-round talent from a consensus, first round, maybe borderline first, get dropped that far. So maybe what happened is one rumor or one legitimate thing happened. Maybe let's take this as this was legitimate, that this assistant coach did experience this, the rumors went around, and it was a brush fire. But the difference usually in the NFL is we'll decide on our own who we want to have on our team. That's happened all the time. Yeah. So that's where we are. And since the draft, he's done nothing but put his head down and not talk about what might have been or what could have been. And now he's got to try to earn his way onto the team. We'll come back and we'll stay with the NFL. Is the most misunderstood player this guy? One quarterback says yes. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
At QC Kinetics, we're all about keeping you in the game, helping you get lasting relief from joint pain. That's why we're excited to announce that QC Kinetics is now partnering with the National Pickleball League. So many of our satisfied patients are avid pickleball players, and they're thrilled with how we've helped them get back on the court. As lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League, we're committed to help pickleball fans of all ages with the latest, most advanced regenerative cell treatments. These treatments use your body's own healing power, revitalizing and restoring damaged joint tissue the natural way, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Whether you're a pickleball fanatic or enjoy golf or running or tennis, stay in the game with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, proud to promote active, pain-free living as a lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So, this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie?
EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at HIMS.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
There was a thought when George Pickens was on the Steelers, and I heard this from several people I know that like the Steelers, that he never really was involved in the offense early on. And then when Pittsburgh had to have it, so to speak, then the ball was going to Pickens. And it happens a lot in this league that when you have a receiver that's that talented, he can win some battles. No alpha receiver that I've ever watched has ever wanted to be a decoy.
No.
Ever.
Not a decoy.
The best ones, though, the best of the best, realize that when they are technically a decoy on that play, they give maximum effort. Because the only way to sell anything is to sell it 100%. And Pickens, when you watch him, and there are videos online, and we've seen him, not a big effort guy. When the ball's not coming his way. And what you have to realize is that if you're not a big effort guy when the ball's not coming your way, you make it a lot easier for the defense to know the ball's not coming your way. And that's Pickens. And maybe he's misunderstood. Or maybe his current quarterback just wants everyone to know that he's going to be different. And he may be, because people, when they get a new lease on life, two things. One, you have the new lease. Take advantage of it. Two, you want to prove people that they were wrong, that judgment that some people had against him was inaccurate. So you have two motivations. And that's kind of where I am with Pickens before we hear from his new QB.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is he's talking to, I think he was on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, and obviously he was around Pickens last year in Pittsburgh, and here he is talking about Pickens and maybe us on the outside not really knowing who the dude truly is.
He's misunderstood. He wants to be great. I think also, too, when it comes to George, I think the big part of him is his ability where he can take it from not just being great, but to being the world's best. I think he has that in him, and so, I'm always rooting for guys I've played with, and all that, but just not when we play him. But yeah, he'll do great there, man. He'll love it there for sure.
Certain talents don't need to be open to be targeted. He feels he's that guy.
Well, call me crazy. I like a little toxic in my star wide receiver. I do, because those guys are usually some of the best at that position. It's rare that you get the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Calvin Johnsons, the A.J. Greens. Those guys are rare breeds at that position. And so when you can have the talent and have a guy be a leader and not be a, hey, where's the darn ball? That's the best of everything. But the league has shown us for years and years that some of these receivers, or a lot of these receivers that are the go-to guys, so there's drama that comes along with it. You just hope that it doesn't get to a point to where it boils over and really causes a massive distraction for your team. It feels to me that the Pittsburgh Steelers thought that was the case, that they had reached a point to where they were saying, we're going to let go of an crazy talented 24-year-old who is in the smack dab of his prime and probably going to be in the next handful of years in his prime. And they're saying, we're good. We're good on that. Let's let somebody else have that as a problem. The interesting part of this scenario for me is now that he is in Dallas is he is in a contract year. And so George Pickens, I believe.
And they're letting him play it out.
They're letting him play it out,
That's
which I think is the smart thing to do based off of some of your other financial commitments. But we've seen guys that in contract years either put their best foot forward on the field and, that's different. We haven't seen him play at that level. Or there's a character swap going on. There's a new mask that these guys put on. I think that's going to happen for George Pickens. And I can't wait to see whether Jerry Jones and the Cowboys take the bait on that because he is a really good player. He is. And I think there's going to be conversations at the end of this year to where that combination may be the best duo in the sport. Those guys stay healthy, that being Lamb and Pickens with the talent that is Pickens. And now that we can classify him as a number 2 wide receiver in the sport, how many number 2 wide receivers would you take over him? I don't think there are many. And so he's going to act right. And I think this is going to be similar, what would have been similar to what we could have saw last year in Houston before Diggs went down with his injury. Because remember, Houston reworked that contract. He was essentially on a 1-year deal. We didn't get to see how he was going to act, but he was playing for new money. And I think when guys realize, and especially Pickens at his age, the type of money that he could get at the end of this year, I would be surprised if we're talking about a guy that is going to be a massive distraction for them, because I also think he's going to be pretty happy because he hasn't played with this type of quarterback since he's been in the league. And so when you play with a guy like Dak Prescott, I think the offense will flow better, and he's going to find himself in advantageous coverages because of how good CD is on the other side.
Yeah, listen, no one's going to deny. I agree with you completely. No one's denying he's an upgrade. Like, Dak's an upgrade. He's moving to but the system is designed to go through CD Lamb. And they just, they extended Turpin, right?
He's a gadget guy.
He is.
Pickens is going to eat a lot more, I would guess. The other guy he's got to worry about, though, is Ferguson, the tight end. Yeah. So they have what should be on paper an explosive aerial attack. We'll see how good their run game will be with some of the guys that they brought in with Javonte Williams and that crew. But Lamb and Pickens, man, those guys should be cooking. Who do you double? I don't think you can double a lot in games against these guys. So for Pickens, look, man, if he's a good teammate, Jerry Jones is not shy away from paying star players. And I don't think Jerry Jones would let him walk without him getting a respectable offer. And then if you're Pickens, you're looking at a runway opposite 88 down there in Dallas with a pretty doggone good quarterback, and you're in a good spot.
Man, all I know is if you can make a 30-minute video on a guy running lazy routes, that's not a good thing. Like, if I can come up with 30 minutes of designing highlights of where this guy didn't put in the effort or a very lazy route, he's going to have to combat that. And he's now in Dallas. They believe he's a talent, and he is. Yeah. You said it right. And he should be able to feast a little bit. He should.
Oh, my goodness.
Until the real guy hopefully doesn't show up again. Like if he's not getting the ball or if things aren't going well for the team or the offense.
And also, look, Jerry Jones has shown he doesn't mind having guys like this around. No. The Des Bryants, the Michael Irvins of the world. Like, he's an owner that will put up with some of this stuff. We'll see how long.
But those guys
he is an owner that doesn't
supreme.
No,
players.
I know, but Jerry Jones is looking around and saying, what is he, 80-something years old, AR? I don't know how old he is. You know, how many times are we going to have swings at being an elite team? And I'm sure he views his Pickens as a piece that could potentially put them over the top.
All right, we'll come back top of the hour. We get a little Sports Center update for you here, and then we'll come back. A 2-time Super Bowl champ is not buying this guy as MVP. We'll tell you who that is next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm one of the at-home coaches with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Honestly, I think the thing I hear the most is I didn't realize how easy it was. That first weekly they come in, they're like, oh my gosh, I already noticed that I'm not as bloated in my face or in my abdomen, or I've been sleeping better. I've been waking up with so much more energy. I don't need my coffee throughout the day. They're coming in a month or two later and they're like, hey, like my daughter said I need to lower my meds. I'm losing a ton of inches on my waist. I'm buying new pant sizes. And we're looking at the scale and we're like, yeah, your visceral fat's down again. That's fantastic. And we're celebrating all of these wins. And then we talk about, okay, next step. Let's talk about how to maintain it. This isn't over. This is just the next stage. That's what your health coach is there for.
Thanks, Mandy. This is Scottie Vegas. Easy weight loss with results that actually last. With Awaken 180 Weight Loss, you will succeed and you'll enjoy the process. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness, Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Summer is officially here, and that means rising temperatures. You're going to be thinking about how you can keep cool all summer long. What's the best plan here? Well, one of the ways you can beat the heat and keep the air conditioning you're paying for in your home is to get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. And now's a great time to do it. They've got a semi-annual sale where you buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows for free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a whole house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. It's a deal that can't be beat. You're getting a great deal from Window Nation because they are high-efficiency windows that are also very affordable. They do that by working directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. But don't wait on that semi-annual sale. You buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows free. Free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. You've got to schedule your estimate today. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Quiet down. Here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Swimming in debt with rates as low as 8.99% APR. You can save your summer with a debt consolidation loan from BMI Federal Credit Union. Visit bmifcu.org/consolidate. Ohio State has announced plans to construct 9 field-level suites with 12-person capacities in the south stands at Ohio Stadium for the 2026 season. The suites will have 400 premium chairback seats situated on top. For the second day in a row, Jake Dler is added to his roster for the upcoming season. Yesterday, Miles Hero, the brother of Miami Heat guard Tyler Hero, committed to the Buckeyes. This morning, it was Matthew Grujic, a 6'5" wing that has played the past 2 seasons for SC Barcelona. The Cleveland Guardians in New York to face the Yankees at 7:05 tonight. The Reds continuing their series with the Milwaukee Brewers at 7:10.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1, The Fan.
That doesn't get old for me. All right. Get into the second hour with you, Brendan Deek from thescore.com. We'll come out at 1:30. We'll hit NFL with him. Saw some AI stuff about Aaron Rodgers retiring, all that. That did not happen, from my knowledge.
No, I have not seen that either. Mandatory minicamp right around the corner for a lot of these NFL teams. I know OTAs we're off and running with that, but mandatory minicamp is going to be here quickly, and so that will be a pretty significant moment for both Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise to see how they proceed at the quarterback position.
We've talked about it too much. Don't need to talk about it again. If he signs, he signs.
If he dies.
Drago? If he dies, he dies.
He dies.
I must break you. MVP of the league. There is one guy that you would think would be on a fast track. It's rare for a rookie to be in the running for MVP. And it happened last year. And I remember when you and I were talking about our fantasy drafts, and after it was over, I looked at you and said, I took a leap.
Mm-hmm.
And I even said to you in classic second-guessing form, I wonder if I should have taken Caleb Williams when I took Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
Waited on quarterback, and I thought, I wanted the rushing upside. And I remember we'd have to go back through the first few weeks of the season. Mm-hmm. I looked at you and said, is this guy ever going to throw a touchdown pass?
I got it for you right here. Week 1 against Tampa, 17 for 24, $184. No touchdowns. However, in that game, you got a little preview of what you expected, and that was 16 carries, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. However, the following week, they were home against the New York Giants, and it was 23 of 29 for 226 and no touchdowns. So the efficiency was there. His first 2 games in the league, 70% completion percentage, 79 completion percentage, and then broke loose down in Cincinnati because that was a shootout, heck of a game. Remember one of those dimes you threw in the back of the end zone to Terry McLaurin, and you were like, okay, this kid has arrived now, and it was smooth sailing for him for the most part the rest of the way.
He single-handedly won me a week, not him really, but he threw the Hail Mary.
Yes, against the Bears, right?
Against the Bears, that the Bears player was taunting.
Oh my gosh!
Was taunting the Washington fans.
I love that type of stuff.
And they said, "You might want to get back." It was Tyreek Stevenson.
Yes.
You might want to go out there. The game isn't over yet. And here's the beauty. And this is—I don't know if you guys believe in karma.
Man.
You'd like to believe in it, that there's some cosmic force in the world that's righting against evil and figuring things out, and the people that are supposed to be getting stuff will get it, and but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But if there was sports karma, that delivered on the spot. Like the football god said, not only are they going to complete this Hail Mary, you're going to be the one that tips it.
It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome because this dude is selling out, and I would love to know what he was saying. I'm sure he was saying go home, start driving, whatever it may have been. Yeah, turn around, player. There's a Hail Mary coming your way, and they're going to succeed on this Hail Mary because you were out of place. But, yeah, I mean, the show in Washington that Jayden put on was pretty crazy to see because it was a continued amount of momentum from the collegiate ranks where we saw this dude at LSU, man, that last year he was cooking with hot grease, won the Heisman. And then it's just, I don't really like to put a lot of expectations on rookie quarterbacks to play at the highest of levels, but we've seen him do it. We've seen a couple guys do it over the last couple of years, and now there's talk out there that maybe Jayden Daniels could find himself in the MVP mix maybe sooner rather than later.
Got off to a 7-2 start. They got on a 3-game losing streak. Knocked them kind of back to reality, but certainly they made the run. And it was very impressive. But like I said, it's so rare for a rookie to be involved. But his stats say that he was very MVP-like, especially with his dual threat ability.
Yeah.
And so we kind of arrive at this season with where would we rank him?
Well, I'll tell you one guy that I think maybe wants to slow the train down just a little bit. He likes what he sees from him, but old Phil Simms, when it comes to betting on the MVP for the 2025 season, here's what he had to say.
Is he more likely to be the MVP or more likely to take a step back?
Oh, he's not going to take a step back, but I don't think he'll be the MVP just because, let's see, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Man, these are some guys, even if the team is not good, they're still capable and willing and can still have outstanding seasons statistically. But, the team's got to win. You got to play well. And it's got to kind of fall your way to be an MVP in the NFL.
I don't think there was anything too negative there. I think it sounded to me like there was a realistic feel there that he's up against a couple of pretty big beasts, guys that certainly have won it and guys that will mean as much to their teams as anybody. He's a scary player. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And what I liked about him the most, and this is weird, he never looked rattled for a young quarterback. Like, I never really saw him look out of place. Certainly he didn't make every play, but the fact is that why wouldn't he be in the mix now again?
I think part of that, AR, and what you saw, because I think a lot of people would agree with you in your assessment of Jayden Daniels and his poise, if you will, was the amount of college football he played. There's always going to be that shock to the system, no matter who you are. But when you're Jayden Daniels and you played a few years at Arizona State and you spent some time down at LSU and you got all those snaps, like coming into the league, I have to imagine things are a little bit slower for you and you can calm your nerves that way. It's one thing to say it, but he went out and did it. But we've got some evidence now that some of these guys, like a Bo Nix, like a Jayden Daniels, can come into the league and be able to have but have more success than a lot of rookies do in the past because they spent a nice amount of time in college playing ball.
Bottom line is this guy got so much out of his rookie year, more than anyone could have ever hoped. He got 2 playoff games on the road, right? Tampa was on the road, wasn't it?
4 quarters away from going to the darn Super Bowl.
Right. And they lost the eventual champs who torched the other team.
Yeah.
So the fact that this kid went on the road, I'm not going to say Tampa's like the biggest road thing, but
they've been a good team.
When he went to Detroit and did what he did, go look at his stats in those 2 games combined of what he accounted for.
Oh, yeah. He's legit
in those games.
He's legit. And, the rushing aspect that you talked about is so important to identify because I think that's why this dude can be in the MVP mix more times than not if he stays healthy because last year he was second in the league amongst all quarterbacks in rushing yards with 891. The guy that was number 1 was Lamar with 915. And so this year he has new help on offense. With the addition of Deebo Samuel, you have Terry McLaurin there with some other guys that have been pretty good offensive playmakers. So I think they've done a good job around him with providing good structure. And you keep your offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury, which I think is huge, right? Because you don't want a guy coming into the league and getting pulled in different directions as far as the playbook goes in the system. So now he knows what Cliff Kingsbury's system is like. Kingsbury knows what to do with quarterbacks like Jayden Daniels based off of his time with Kyler Murray at Arizona State, his time in college with guys like Johnny Manziel. And so that marriage, I think, works really well. And so for Jayden, he's going to have his opportunities to hop right into an MVP mix because Washington will play in a lot of spotlight games, a lot of primetime games. They've got 5 primetime games and they've got 3 others that are kicking off in that 425 window. And so for Jayden Washington, there's going to be a lot of pressure to follow what we saw last year, the same way C.J. Stroud had to deal with all that pressure in year 2. But I think Jayden Daniels, based off what you said, I think he's wired correctly. And I don't think he's going to be shook by any of this expectation. And so Washington, they're in a very tough division, but they nailed the quarterback position. And when you do that as a franchise, you can start cooking pretty quickly.
It's quarterback award. That's number 1. So he's got a great shot at it in general. And then I started thinking about, to betting on him. Now, the odds are he's the 5th bet dude now, or at least from an odds standpoint.
Yeah, over at Bet365, you're right, AR. He has the 5th best odds. He's behind Lamar at plus 500. Josh Allen's plus 600. Joey B is plus 650, tied with Mahomes. So actually, he's 4th. He's got the 4th best odds right now, plus 850 to win the MVP.
Yeah, so you start going down the line of where would you want your money? Well, there's probably not a big enough gap for me between Jayden Daniels and Josh Allen or Lamar. Like, there's probably not enough value to say, yes, I want to have all my eggs in that basket, in the Jayden Daniels basket. You start going down the road, like, who else would you bet on? Like, that was below him. We know the guys the guys are going to have a real shot at this. But if you're looking at value, he's probably not quite in the value range anymore.
Not Jayden Daniels. No,
he's not
at the moment.
And I don't really see Barkley's not going to follow up the year he just had. Not to the point where he'd win MVP over a quarter.
So,
not over a quarterback. I
agree.
But there are guys like the 3 of us talked about the Patriots. And how would you define MVP? You don't always have to be on the best team, and you don't always have to be the quarterback on the best team, but it tends to go that way a lot. But I'll tell you, if somehow he got them to the playoffs, Drake May, like if he played well and got him to the playoffs, I'm just thinking of like mega value.
Slay the dragon of the Bills in that division.
Crazy.
They got to win the division.
Of course.
For I think that conversation to have some real legitimate weight.
Like, where is the value in the MVP race?
Plus 850 is not good value?
No, it's the gap between having Josh Allen at 6-1 versus having Jayden at 8.5. Meaning, would you rather have Jayden at 8.5 or Josh at 6? It doesn't feel like there's enough gap there for me to say I'm going to move off of Josh.
Oh, I got you.
To take Jayden. I'm not saying you can have both. You can have them both. But in this conversation, if you had to just pick one, if Jayden Daniels was where Jalen Hurts is, 18-1. Now, all of a sudden, I think I'd have something. But you're telling me that I've got to move my money off of Burrow, Allen, or Jackson to take Jayden. It doesn't seem like they're offering me enough to do it.
I am just the guy who says, stick with who you think is going to win, Scottie Scheffler. Stick with who you think is going to win instead of feeling afterwards, well, the odds were great, so, my loss was justified.
I'm with you on that. At least Josh Allen, those other guys aren't like 2-1. Like where you're, but I'm with you. You always want to, but in this particular instance, I'm just trying to find someone that could come out of nowhere and win this award other than the usual 3 suspects, Lamar, Josh, or Joe.
And Pat.
And I guess let's definitely keep Pat in there.
There's something, I've been kind of digging what the Bears have been cooking this offseason. Caleb Williams at 28-1. I'm not mad at that because I do think he can be one of those quarterbacks that has some pretty good rushing yards as well, and I think they're ready to win at a higher clip than they did last year. Now, the division is crazy good. Lions are awesome. Vikings are really good. I think they will be good again, but I think that's what it would take for Caleb is to get in the mix. He almost had 500 rushing yards last year, and I think Ben Johnson's going to have things in order. So when you try to find some better odds, for me, I'm not mad at Caleb Williams at 28-1 for a new kid on the block in the MVP conversation.
Aaron Rodgers, 80-1.
Is he on that board?
That's right. He's on the board.
It's your boy, TLC.
We come back, and the Browns' identity. Where has it gone? One guy thinks you don't have to look far. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, CARE was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, CARE is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So, this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie?
EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work. The peace lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
It's almost time for the inaugural 9.71 The Race.
Sponsored by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
Run, walk, have a beer with Common Man. Whatever strikes your fancy. Sign up today at 971therace.com.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
What a day ahead we have. It is going to heat up as our temperatures climb in the mid to upper 80s with mostly sunny skies, and it'll be breezy. You'll also notice some haze from that wildfire smoke. As we go into tonight, partly cloudy with lows down into the 60s and even hotter on Wednesday. Don't forget the sunglasses and the sunscreen as our highs approach right around 90 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Oh, the Brownies might just have to suck up another bad year and wait and put all your eggs in that 26 basket. And if you land a quarterback If you landed one in this draft, then you could really do some damage in next year's draft. You feel like you have the right guy.
Yeah, that's the dream.
But that'll be interesting, though, if they see enough in one of their guys this year to steer them off taking a quarterback next year. Then you're kind of in the. Can you imagine having that conversation? Like that Shadur or Dylan Gabriel showed flashes of greatness, and you're like, ooh, do you go all in now and then steer your way off of.
Or it would have to be more than flashes, right? Like it would have to be a pretty significant run of good play, I think, for them to completely shut the door on that conversation, because they're the people that are, quote, in the know on these quarterback classes think that next year is just going to be really strong. And at the top, in that top 10, top 15, you can grab what is going to be at least a guy that provides a safe floor, but there's guys in next year's draft that people believe provide high ceilings, whether that's, Drew Aller or Arch or Sellers or whoever you like. It seems to be a handful of guys that have really got the streets talking as far as next year's draft goes.
So they had to convince, I don't know if convince is the right word, they had to at least sell Joel Bitonio on coming back for a 12th year and to endure another 3-win season perhaps. And who knows? It's one of those things that there were discussions that were in play with Barry and Stefanski, and Bitonio kind of sold this. Do we have sound with this, TLC, as well?
Which one you want?
You tell me. What's is this on him coming back or the identity?
We can do him coming back. Here you go.
Yeah, it's been great. It was truly a decision, this offseason. At the end of the year, I was, truly deciding if I wanted to play anymore, and I kind of sat at home for a month or two and was in and around and talked to my wife, and we just, went through the process, and I was like, I could still play football at a high level. I still want to play football. And, after the discussions with Coach Stefanski and Andrew Berry, and they don't tell you, who they're drafting or anything, but, just the style of offense we were going to run, who we're going to, try and bring in at quarterback. Offensive line coach, Coach Bloom was a big part of it. He was just, we went to dinner a couple times and just talked on his philosophies. All those things played in, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not ready to be done. I want to play more, and I want to play in Cleveland, and that was kind of my mindset.
You'd have to dig in on what they really sold him on. Like you said, they didn't tell him individual players, but I would have to ask him. It seems like this leaned more towards, I still want to play football. Not that I was promised some great season, but it feels like that. And I don't know what he makes. What does he make? 15? 12, 15 mil, something like that. I'm sure he had motivation money-wise to come back for one more year as long as he could still play. But if they go, Maddie, they were the 4th worst rushing team in the NFL last year.
Yeah, there was no punch, to say the least, coming from that offensive unit via the run game. It looks like ARU right around that salary, 15. It looks like for this year, $15 million for this season. What I heard in there is an offensive line men hearing from Stefanski and Drew Berry when he talks about identity and the offensive system and those things, getting back to who they were just a few years ago. Now, Nick Chubb was in the mix. There's no Nick Chubb in the mix. And that guy at the time where they were top 5 in 2020 and 2021 in rushing yards per game was an absolute force. And to me, was on track, I think, for being a Hall of Fame candidate with how good he looked. So that guy is obviously no longer there. But I do think when you're talking about a new world with potentially playing a couple rookie quarterbacks along the way, one of the best things for them will be a very strong rushing attack. And so, Bitonio, if you're an offensive lineman, you love hearing that, because then that gets you into your bread and butter. It's, hey, we can be physical, throw dudes out of the club, and it can be on us to grind out games and help, clean up the picture for our young quarterback with the play action pass and all those things that come into play when you are a ball control type of offense. It's not the sexiest thing to do, but it's something that they've done in the past and done well under Kevin Stefanski. So now you have Tommy Rees coming in as your new offensive coordinator, and I'm sure he wants to get to some of that as well. And so when I think about this Browns offense, I'm really in on the rookie class that they brought in, the weapons that they brought in. I think it looks good on paper. We know what one of those guys is in Quinshon. I think he's going to ball up there. But speaking of former Buckeyes, I think there's a ton of pressure this year on DeJuan Jones, because it looks like he's going to have an opportunity to be their starting left tackle. And so the availability has been in question for him due to injuries and all of that. His conditioning, people have questioned that. Sounds like he's in the lab and trying to be in the best physical shape he can be in. But for DeJuan Jones right now, a couple years into the league, he has a lot of pressure on him to protect the blind side of these quarterbacks, or unless it's Dylan Gabriel as a lefty in there. But I was thinking about DeJuan AR, because if they get that from him, high-level play from DeJuan Jones consistently and availability from him, then you don't have to use one of those first-round picks next year in 2026 to go get a left tackle, or in the second round or third round, whatever that may be. So, yeah, a lot of focus is going to be on the former Buckeye Jones to hold it down on that O-line.
Talk sounds great. It does. I like hearing Joel Bitonio say, we're going back old school a little bit. Let's hear a little bit from him again, TLC, on where you're heading identity-wise.
I got which quarterback they want. That's kind of speaking to that identity point, because there's kind of a point of inflection right now with where are we at with the quarterback? What does this all mean with the team? And he definitely gave a preference in terms of which quarterback he would like to play.
We want the best guy. I think I said that on a radio spot I did, but we want the best guy. We want the best guy to compete. And, you understand that the team has a duty for future years, but I think going into the season, we're going to put the best guys out there, and we're going to try and win as many games as we can. And we know we're in a tough division. We know the AFC's tough, but, I think we have faith that we're going to put the best guy out there.
Sounds good. It does. It sounds good when you're 0-0. Like it does. If you're 1-4, things change. Plans change. Listen, having Quinshawn, having Dylan Sampson, having Ford who will be motivated, if they get back to blocking well, and Bitonio thinks they can, then you will lean into that ground game as much as you can. The only problem is the defense can lean into it as well. Because if you don't have a threat passing the football, everybody loads up. So they're kind of in a weird spot right now. What did you make of that? Play the best guy. I feel like that sounds
just
good
player
here in
speak.
June.
It's player speak, and I completely agree with you on that. But that's the fine line that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry have to walk, is when you have veterans like Joel Bitonio and Myles Garrett, who just recommitted to the franchise for years. And I get the money was crazy, and a lot of players would do that. But those guys, Denzel Ward, that have been around for a while and haven't seen a whole bunch of winning, like playing rookie quarterbacks, those guys aren't going to love that unless you have a Jayden Daniels or a, C.J. Stroud in-house or a Bo Nix in-house. A lot of rookies struggle at that position. And so those guys that when it gets into the latter portion of the schedule, and if the losing comes along with that, then you're going to have, I think, some disgruntled veterans within your locker room. And that's a tough thing, because the two timeline thing in sports rarely ever works. And they have vets that believe that they're close. They've said that on record this offseason, that we get a guy, we believe we're close to competing at the highest level. But the franchise also has to worry about the future, and they clearly told us that when they drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks in the same draft class. So that's going to be fascinating to see, ARs, how they manage the timelines of this thing and keeping guys around that have played ball for you at a high level that are now vets happy as well.
Listen, I don't mind the plan. The plan was where they were. Haslam, they put themselves in this thing. They got to live with it. They put themselves into the Deshaun Watson bed, and now they got to lie in it. That's fine. And I did like what Haslam said before the draft about we have to get this draft right. I think some people read into that they got to pick the right players. I read into that no, they've got to orchestrate this thing for the future, which they've done. So no one's going to stand up in front of a microphone and say we're sacrificing a year of football. No one would do that. The players don't want to hear it. The players wouldn't say it. Yeah. A guy like Bitonio is coming back for his 12th year. He thinks, because then you're only coming back for the money. That's the only reason you came back. And I believe him. I hear him that he wants to play another year of football and get paid, which he deserves to be. But the fact that you could hear it in his voice, that he wants to get back to blocking it right and getting back to being a threat on the ground if they can be. But I'm with you. This is about finding the quarterback of the future and whether this regime is going to be allowed to coach it up. Because
and look,
they're stuck.
When you're Joel Bitonio and you look at the guys you have at quarterback, you know kind of what you're in for. There's like a handful of teams, I believe, around the league that truly believe in their locker room that they can win at the highest level. To me, the Browns aren't one of those teams. And so what their quarterback room is constructed of right now on paper doesn't seem like there's a lot of winning on the way. And you're Bitonio, you know that. So you're going to play the game publicly. But I think in his gut, he truly knows that it may be an uphill climb at that position unless they get back to what you're talking about, and that's moving people around a lot on the ground.
Brendan Deeg, thescore.com, in 2 minutes here, either, neither, or both. Talking about Gabriel and Sanders. I'll ask him next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If you're in construction, it's time to mark your calendars. Purple Wave Auction is selling Valfair Construction's premium fleet on June 12th. Their transparent process lets you bid with confidence on late model Cat, Volvo, and John Deere equipment located near you. From haul trucks to excavators, they've got your needs covered. Use their set max bid and walk away feature for stress-free bidding. This no reserve auction is a game changer for fleet upgrades. Start exploring at purplewave.com today. Purple Wave, where top tier equipment meets unmatched convenience.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing, 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
When sudden illness or injury strike, Ohio State offers 3 types of urgent care to meet any of your needs. From traditional urgent care to our specialized orthopedic urgent care for activity-related injuries and advanced urgent care for more serious injury and illness. Ohio State's experts treat everything from broken bones to ear infections and colds and flu. When your illness or injury can't wait, the choice is clear.
Swimming in debt? Save your summer with a debt consolidation loan from BMI Federal Credit Union. With rates as low as 8.99% APR, now is the perfect time to consolidate your debt. Visit bmifcu.org/consolidate for more details.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony finally hit a hole-in-one.
It's in the hole.
So now what? Just bask in the glory?
And that's how she wrote.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Yeah, those guys are doing great. They are both wired to get in early, stay late, put in whatever work is required. They're sponges in the meeting room, which I think is really fun for me. In my vantage point, I get to sit there and watch the 2 young guys look over, and there's Joe, 40 years old, won Super Bowl. There's Kenny Pickett, just going into year 4, but first-round draft pick that's been on a couple teams, won a Super Bowl last year. There's Deshaun, had a ton of success in his career. They can kind of feed off of all those guys. So that's the thing I'm really, it's fun for me to watch them get better sometimes just by listening.
Kevin Stefanski. That's right. Maddie, years ago, when Arnold Schwarzenegger would come into the Classic and we'd go behind the convention center and interview him, and he'd drive up in the Hummer, he'd get out, and we'd ask him, what is he looking forward to the most? And he would just say, oh, there's a man putting up 400 pounds on a bench press. And, oh, there's a man blowing up a hot water bottle. Oh, and the girls. Maria, you didn't hear that. Like, that was Stefanski. Like, he couldn't separate anybody.
Oh, man.
Like, everybody was fine. Yeah. Everybody's grade 1A. Stefanski. Our boy Brendan Deeg, thescore.com, the man on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fangus Hotline. Brother, what's happening?
Not much. We're in the Gabe Davis visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers type of NFL news cycle. So the NFL news desk here is pretty boring. How you guys doing?
Good. All right, we'll get to that in a moment. You give me your take. Stefanski's not going to separate Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders early June for the media. He's not going to do that. I think they already did that when they picked him where they picked him. But you tell me, are they both going to get a true fair shot? Are they both going to be on this team? Where do you see this quarterback room come the fall?
I think Joe Flacco could probably be the week 1 starter. Just with the Shadur to Gabriel comparisons, like when I was evaluating the quarterbacks, is not high on Dylan Gabriel. I do think the Browns kind of reach for him where they selected him, and then Shadur was kind of there, and they were just like shrugging their shoulders, like might as well take him here. I don't think the plan was heading into the draft we're going to take 2 quarterbacks. I don't think Cleveland prepared for Shadur Sanders to fall there. So I actually do think Shadur Sanders has a chance at starting a good chunk of games this season, and I do think he will be quarterback number 2 on this roster. But I do ultimately think that Joe Flacco is going to be the guy starting. Kevin Stefanski will probably want a veteran presence week 1. And then where that will leave Kenny Pickett, I don't know. Kenny Pickett's been very vocal since he's been traded to Cleveland, like, hey, look, I'm in here to win the starting job. As an Eagles guy who watched Kenny Pickett play last year, as someone who's watched his career, I do think Kenny Pickett is quarterback number 3, and then Dylan Gabriel. I wasn't high on him coming out of the draft. Like, maybe surprises in camp, who knows? But I do think it's going to be between Joe Flacco and Shadur Sanders, and I do think both of those guys start games this season.
Brendan, outside of the Browns quarterback situation, what is one of the most interesting, in your opinion, storylines in the AFC North right now?
I think it's got to be TJ Watt. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are currently negotiating a contract with him, but it sounds like Watt wants a ton of money. It sounds like there's still a gap between those two sides, and Pittsburgh is in this like gray area, no man's land of where they want to be. They feel like every year they don't have a strict plan on the quarterback position. Like, what if this contract negotiation gets messy here? And he could be available for trade. They have so much money already implemented on the defensive side of the ball. So right now, that's kind of where my eyes are. I think the Steelers are the most interesting team just from the offseason perspective in that division. We saw George Pickens get dealt. We saw DK Metcalf go there. We saw the Aaron Rodgers saga. I think all eyes are on Pittsburgh and kind of how the next couple months go, because with the Watt contract extension, with Aaron Rodgers going there or maybe not going there, we still don't know. There's been no movement on that side for quite a while. Basically, the last time we heard from him was on Pat McAfee when he said he's just doing his own thing and he's in no rush. So I'm fascinated by this team right now.
Yeah, I think we all are. And it's not just, I mean, Rodgers certainly has intrigue. I think people are denying that has some intrigue left. He's not the MVP. We know that. Speaking of MVP, though, where are you on Jayden Daniels? Big jump this year, stay the same, or regress?
So it was the big jump quote. Cliff Kingsbury actually said that to the media last week. He said he expects Jayden Daniels to take a big jump next season. Apparently, he's gained some weight this offseason because we all know that was one of the biggest criticisms coming out of LSU was his size, his frame, and it sounds like he's added to it. Cliff Kingsbury's been quoted saying he's been very impressed so far in OTAs with how he's reading the field, and it sounds like everything in the building, like they're really excited, but he was so good last season. Like, if he replicates that exact year, like, you can't complain as a Commanders fan. Even if he plays a little, like, worse than his rookie year, like, you can't complain. Like, he was bona fide top 5 quarterback, right? Like, how much better can he get? Like, he didn't get injured. He had a good run offense with Cliff Kingsbury for majority of the season. Now, the additions they made, I'm skeptical of how much they put around him. I didn't love the Laramie Tunsil trade. I do think Laramie Tunsil's kind of going downhill. They gave up a ton for him. Deebo Samuel, I'm also kind of similar with Larry Tunsil. Like, I see a player on the decline. They have to manufacture touches for him. How much is Cliff Kingsbury willing to kind of run his offense through a guy like Deebo Samuel? So I don't believe they added too much around him. So I think if he plays the exact same year or it has similar numbers, analytic numbers, passing yards, touchdowns, all those numbers, I think you're happy as a Washington Commanders fan. So I believe that sky's the limit for the kid. He can be a top 5 quarterback his whole career, but I do think health is a key factor, and just kind of what they have around him. I'm not buying that he's going to take this next jump to top 3, top 2 quarterback.
Sticking with last year's quarterback class, I want to throw this at you, Brendan. For the next 5 years, would you rather roll with Bo Nix or Drake May?
Drake May, 100%. I was big on Drake May coming out of the draft. I think he flashed a lot of talent last season. Like, they had absolutely nothing around him. He was basically, they didn't play him because they didn't have an offensive line. They refused to put him out there because they were worried they were going to hurt their golden boy and the guy that they invested a high draft pick on. So I think Drake May has really good potential, similar to what I just said about Jayden Daniels. Sky's the limit for him if New England can get enough around him. They didn't really do much in wide receiver outside of Stephon Diggs, and we all know the saga going around him the last couple of weeks. So I was never high on Bo Nix coming out of the draft. If you watch kind of the offense, the way Sean Payton ran it, a lot of dink and dunk. I don't think he proved like quote unquote his doubters wrong. I think that what you saw last year is probably the limit for him and how good he can be, like the 13th to 15th best quarterback in the league. And I think Drake May, he's a lot younger than Bo Nix as well. He's got the size and mobility. I really do think Drake May has a ton of potential, and that I would take him well over Bo Nix.
What do you make of this situation that's kind of unraveling in Houston right now when it comes to C.J. Stroud? Because I don't think he's doing any type of throwing right now. Obviously, the team isn't going to make it a bigger deal than what it is, but what's your understanding of what C.J. is going through right now in H-Town?
Yeah, so D'Amico Ryans actually spoke to reporters today. He says there's no concerns with CJ. It's just general soreness. We're taking extra precautions with him, but he'll be good to go. No concerns on my end there. So D'Amico Ryans shut it all down. He says it's just they're just being really cautious with him, and they don't want to risk potential further injury. But whenever a quarterback like that is not throwing in OTAs, there's going to be a story around it. So as of right now, not too worried. But if let's say come July, end of July when training camp opens, beginning of August, and there's a still storyline, then if you're a Texas fan, you got to be concerned because everyone remembers they made it to the divisional round. They played the Kansas City Chiefs, but they had a really rough regular season. The AFC South is the only division in the NFL that didn't have a positive point differential from any team. This is an organization that needs to start moving forward and getting better every single year and push to compete for conference championships and Super Bowls where they have C.J. Stroud on this rookie contract. So I really do think there's a lot of pressure on D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud this year. And it's if your quarterback's not throwing OTAs, that's where the you start to zoom in a little bit and see if there actually is an issue.
My man, great stuff as always. Appreciate the visit. Be well, and we know you'll be tracking down everything, and we'll ring you back. Thanks.
You guys are the best. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
You got it. Brendan Deeg, thescore.com. What a great site. He was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, when we come back, it's Buckeye Bulletin time. The new best seats in the shoe. Are they really? We'll talk about it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
Talking about guns might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Asking safety questions before a play date, like do you have pets, a pool, are there any unlocked guns in the home, can help keep kids safe. Learn more at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by Ohio Health and the Ad Council.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie?
EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air.
Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Wake up and cash. It's Top Picks on Morning Juice. Powered by WeWinUwin.com. Professional sports bettor Chad Patrick. Dropping plays and juicing up your Friday mornings with fresh pick winners. WeWinUwin.com. Built by winners for winners. Stop guessing and start cashing.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU football insiders. You know it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today.
This is the next phase in my therapeutic work.
Nicole Kidman returns for the Hulu original 9 Perfect Strangers Season 2.
Breathe in, breathe out.
This is safe?
We take you back to a core trauma. Breathe in, breathe out.
She's manipulating us.
Breathe in, breathe out. Why are you resisting?
Is it too late to get a refund? The all-new season of 9 Perfect Strangers is now streaming on Hulu and Disney+. New episodes Wednesdays.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
I can't believe they're moving the team to another city.
True, but you'll never forget all the joy they brought into your life.
Joy? They made the playoffs twice in 50 years.
Gosh, those 2 times were pretty great, weren't they?
How would I know? I wasn't even born yet.
Just think of all the free time you'll have on game days.
Those games were the highlight of my week.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That's right. We'll get into a Buckeye Bulletin here in moments.
By the way, I got a couple more years left in me as a Reds fan. I think I'm moving on.
Whoa!
Yeah, we'll get to that. We can get to that later. But since that was a little bump back.
Is this year included?
Yeah, I'll ride this out.
I mean this year plus 2 or this year plus 1? I think that's where I'm at.
Plus 2.
Okay.
2 more years. And if we're still dealing with this same nonsense.
But what I'm saying is, are you including this season in your 2 more?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So technically 2.5, if you will.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
Does that qualify as
1.5?
Well, no.
You mean this half,
the rest of
and then
year,
1 more?
No, and then 2 more.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. Were you including this season? You're not including this season.
No, I am.
Is this plus 2 more in addition?
Correct.
Okay.
2.5. Do we qualify that as a false start on the kid? What type of penalty is that?
That's a false
start. Delay of game?
No, I just think he called it. There was an audible at the line of scrimmage. The ball was snapped. We got the playoff.
Just the wrong
play.
They
didn't blow the whistle. So I would not actually put that in the false start because that means it's a dead play, and we kept going.
We did. We didn't know what play we were running, but we ran a play.
No, we probably took a loss. But the play counts.
I think I jumped off sides and gave you guys a free play is what happened.
Oh, boy.
Well, I love that. I love a good free play.
Quarterback just chucks it up there.
I'm not done with this topic yet. So are you just going to be giving up on baseball entirely?
No. Being a Reds fan.
Yeah.
Being a Reds fan. I'll always love baseball, but they've got 2.5 seasons left to get things in order and become a respectable playoff contender.
You start running a respectable business, and I won't have to come in here and hassle you no more.
I know you got some
respectable.
Listen, Hoss, you start running a respectable business, and I won't have to come in here and hassle you no more.
What is that?
Should I give you one more line to get it for you?
Sure.
I'll do an easy one. If you don't get this, you will never get it. There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Reggie Hammond. Y'all be cool. Right on.
Tombstone.
No. No.
You kind of said that like Cam Ward. Tombstone.
I don't think Eddie Murphy was in Tombstone.
Coming to America.
No.
Beverly Hills Cops.
No.
Banana in the Tailpipe.
That's a line from Beverly Hills Cop. That's not the name of a movie, Banana in the Tailpipe.
Shrek.
It may be a name of a movie that you've seen before.
Oh, man.
I'm running out of Eddie Murphy movies.
Yeah, me too. What is it?
48 Hours.
48 Hours.
With Nick Nolte? Is it that old? It is old. I'm not going to.
When did this come out? Late night? Early 90s?
It's old. But it's so good that I don't. See, good movies I don't really put into the it's too old department.
I got 1982.
Okay, that sounds right.
You know your boy ain't watching anything from
It's
1982.
in color, Matty.
That is my rule. Fair enough. You're right to call me out. Because anything in black and white, I just can't do it.
So basically what you're saying is you're telling whoever the guy is down there, Castellini, whoever,
yeah,
you start running a respectable business,
I'm out.
and I won't have to come down here and hassle you no more.
Can't do it anymore, man. Us Reds fans deserve better.
I know you got some Baltimore roots. Are you going to go to the Orioles or just be a, as they call it on WFAN, an independent baseball observer, an IBO?
I think I'd be the latter there.
We've got 2.5 years to pick a new team for.
I do. Mm-hmm.
We could work
got
on
time.
this.
Think of marinate for a little bit.
I know a team that isn't afraid of losing their fans, and that's Ohio State. And they're adding a new section of premium seating to the south end of the shoe.
Okay.
They're going to be like little indoor, it looks like little indoor-outdoor suites with seats on top. So you have a view above the people that are in the end zone or any stragglers walking by. Like you're going to be elevated unless you're on the ground floor watching.
Yeah.
But I always thought this, and you guys, I don't think you guys have been there. But in Dallas at Jerry World, you have those pitted suites. Those ones that are in ground level.
Behind the sideline, behind the players?
Yes, they're on the ground level.
Isn't that a terrible view?
There is no view.
Every time I see that, I'm like, you're watching the game on TV,
right.
clearly in the suite, not out there on the field.
So I would think that these seats in the shoe that are going to be very high-end, 12-person capacity suites.
400 of these things. That's what I'm seeing.
Well,
400 chairback seats.
400?
That's what I'm seeing they are. Says each of the 400 chairback seat purchases will also include full admission to the brand new 1922 club, which features all-inclusive food and drink opportunities before, during, and after the game.
So you're saying each one of these suites will contain about 30 seats?
No, it looks like based on the rendering, the seats are going to be on top.
Right, but 30 of them.
Looks like it.
All right.
Wait, you're seeing 30. Why am I seeing? I don't know.
No, I'm not seeing
He's
30.
doing math.
I'm just doing math. You said
I gotcha.
400 seats, and I know there are about 12 suites.
Okay, I just want to get this right.
So I kind of rounded it up.
Here's the brass tacks part of this. Deposits for the 400 premium chairback seats priced at $6,000 for a season are now being accepted, and fans have until June 27th to reserve seats and become an inaugural member. Suite sales, which also include full admission to the 1922 club, will begin at a later date. This is a keeping up with the Joneses thing. It's a historic venue. You never want to disrespect the history of the structure of the shoe, which I don't think they ever will. But I think adding to what is already there is something that you have to do, right? Because these are the things that keep people coming through the gate. Also, it's the attractiveness of the stadium and house for recruits if they care about those things, yada, yada, yada. But there's some really nice venues around college football, as we all know, that have these type of availability, these type of options for fans to partake in. And so if you're Ohio State, this is something that you just have to do.
I'll have to really dive into what this would be if you could actually rent this for the entire season. So each suite is going to be a season commitment. This wouldn't be a game-to-game thing.
I wouldn't
You'd
think.
have to, right.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. But here's a quote from Ross Bjork on the new edition. This edition is designed for passionate members of Buckeye Nation, bringing greater comfort,
rich members,
improved access to the field level, and a wider range of seating options to better serve even more fans. It also marks a small key step in the ongoing modernization of Ohio Stadium, ensuring this iconic and wonderful venue continues to evolve while honoring the traditions that make it so special. We're dedicated to making every visit to the shoe unforgettable, and this enhancement is another meaningful stride toward delivering the best possible game day experience.
Listen, for those that can afford it, it'll probably be very neat. You'll be closer to the field, obviously right on top of the field. Now, whether or not those seats in the suite have any kind of view, or whether you'll just have a big monitor in there, and you'll get the inside-outside attractiveness. You'll get the outside if you want to step out onto that little area in front, and whatever you can see, or you can be in if the weather's bad and there's a monitor in there, so you get the best of both worlds. I'm getting word that it's possible that the seats in the suite and those come with the suite purchase, the seats above are a totally separate deal.
Oh.
I thought that the seats on top of the suite would be more of a kind of a lower deck, upper deck feel that you could, but with the amount of seats I see on the above of the suite, I could see why that would be its own separate deal. So you're either in the suite
or you're in the club.
You're in the seats.
You're in the suite.
You're either in that enclosed suite, or there's a separate deal to sit above the suites.
Like above the awning and all that stuff.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to narrow down the price, Maddie, because I know you'll be interested.
It's for the most passionate fans. They're going to raffle these off based off of a sweepstakes.
Oh, man.
They're going to have you email them a video of you talking about how passionate you are as an Ohio State fan, and that's how they're going to decide who gets in.
Hey, you're an alma mater. This is your alma mater.
That's right. It has nothing to do with buying your way
I know,
in.
and I'm reminded every single month when I got to pay back the government for it.
That's right. Hey, got you here, man. Maybe.
Actually, yes.
The people, the tradition, the excellence, the great seats. I mean, just
time and change.
Keep checking the dollars and change, maybe. All right,
exactly.
We'll come back, and top of the hour, we'll do a deep dive and get into some chat roulette. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
I've been able to resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
When you're ready to sell your car, another reason to choose Hinder Motor Company is the easy, fast, fair, and hassle-free way to sell. This is Justin Hinderer. We pay top dollar for your vehicle, whatever the make or model, and no purchase is necessary. Consider trading and get even more toward your next vehicle. Drive in today and leave with cash or get a great deal. See why it's a pleasure doing business. Just visit HinderMotorCompany.com.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. This one's sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan with BMI. For the second day in a row, Jake Dler is added to his roster for the upcoming season. Yesterday, Miles Hero, the brother of Miami Heat guard Tyler Hero, commits to the Buckeyes. This morning, it was Matthew Gruisic, a 6'5" wing that's played the past 2 seasons for FC Barcelona. The Cleveland Guardians back in action tonight in New York, taking on the Yankees at 7:05. Tanner Bybee gets the ball for Cleveland opposite Carlos Rodon. The Cincinnati Reds continue their series with the Milwaukee Brewers at Great American Ballpark this evening. Hunter Green versus Freddie Peralta, the pitching matchup. Coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:40. First pitch is at 7:10.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. Adam Jardy, bottom of the hour, 2:30, covers the Bucks for the Columbus Dispatch. Will give us a little take on the additions by Coach Dler. Did a little digging during the break. As you mentioned, South End Zone Premium and Seating has come in 2026. 9 suites, 400 new chairbacks. You get access to the 1922 Club. That's included. The seats that are above the enclosed suite, from my knowledge, and this is early, do not take this 100%, are just that. Seats. Very expensive. Great location. South End Zone, perched on top of that suite. little above the field level.
Yeah.
Pretty good vantage point. Might be able to catch a stray extra point, Maddie, or something like that.
There you go.
$6,000 per seat per year.
Okay.
So where are we at home games? 8, 7?
Yeah, I think we're doing 8 home games. I think. Let me double check this for you.
That would be $750 a game.
You got that.
Per seat.
There are...
Could buy a pretty nice couch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 home games this year.
So that raises it to $857 and change per seat per game.
And guess what, AR? Those seats...
They'll get it?
They will be filled. They will be filled.
So it's the 9 elevated field level suites with 12 person. So you can get the dirty dozen into the field level suite.
Mm-hmm.
Those will be located right in the front of the south stands. Then the 400 premiums that we talked about with the chair backs are going to be perched on top of those line of suites.
Mm-hmm.
And those chairback seats will be what they're saying are the widest chairback seats in the stadium.
Oh, so they're comfy, is what they're telling us.
It can accommodate a comfiness and an oversized load.
Okay.
An oversized load.
So it says we're proud to... Well, I just drove back from Chicago. I was behind many of those. We're proud to introduce a premium seating area on the field level in the south end zone. An investment that reflects our deep commitment to enhancing the fan experience. Listen, this is nothing out of the world crazy. I think it's for the people that can afford it.
There's no doubt about that.
I advise you picking one up.
Yeah.
It's very choice.
I think the fan will buy a couple of these for us to go to the station. Fish got it, right?
I mean, we get in for free technically on credentials. We could just kind of...
We don't have the sweet life.
No, we don't have that.
As long as we get your memorial credential.
Hey now. So,
and the food, listen, if I'm paying that type of money, the food better be on point in this suite. That's all I'm saying.
What's his name? Chef Steven? Chef John? Who was he at the memorial?
Yeah, Chef John. We need some real chefs up in that thing. No boiled hot dogs, none of that. I'm sorry.
sure, Maddie, they could, for $750 or $850 a seat, you could request your carb-free, sugar-free, whatever, you'd be broccoli and almonds for everyone.
I was on the hunt at the memorial for that.
We could have that for you.
I'm just saying, Aaron.
When you say on point for a guy like you, I mean, is it for everybody else or you?
No, for me and everybody else. Like, if we're spending this amount of coin, let's up the ante on the food over there for the people that are spending this type of bread. That's all I'm saying. Heck, up the ante for the food in the entire stadium. Get some Michelin star chefs over there.
And while you're at
it. They can afford it. They can afford it.
Yeah.
Take care of the fans.
I like the checklist, though. You get the premium chair back. You get seated in the south end zone. You get that wide chair back that I just talked about.
Yeah.
You get access to the 1922 club. The all-inclusive in-seat, by the way, wait service. You don't have to get out of that chair.
White glove service?
In-seat food
butlers coming around?
Coming around.
Okay.
And here's the most important one. Dedicated restrooms. Not really sure what that means, but it sounds like you will not be in Gen Pop when it comes to the bathroom situation.
I'm here for that.
That's actually really important.
Access to purchase game day parking. Well, you got to buy your parking. Exclusive access to seats through Ohio State Player Tunnel, as I thought. That's where you will enter the stadium.
Okay.
Same place as the players. Away game and postseason ticket opportunity. And then with the 22 club, you're getting all sorts of benefits. The cash bar for all the spirits you love so much.
Yep.
The private restrooms that I mentioned. Home bathroom advantage in a way.
I wonder how the students are going to feel about this, because this is kind of their territory. This right here. I'm sure they've gone through all the science and all that stuff to where the views should be good for everybody. But I wonder how the students are going to feel, especially the ones that get there early and take up those first few rows and the band and all that. That's over there. It'll be interesting to see the reaction to that. I don't know if they can.
Move them back 6 rows or whatever it is.
Actually, you know what? How about the reverse angle? How are the rich and wealthy going to feel when they got a student with a bullhorn right above their head? You got to be thinking about
the in-game experience, though, you're paying for.
There you go.
Because they got a few student section leaders who are leading the chants. And, when you have tens of thousands of students on that entire back of the end zone.
Yeah.
You need a bullhorn to lead those chants. They do.
I thought we were talking about passionate fans. They're all together.
Well, that's what it says.
That's how they branded
it. You're right, AR. The quote is, this edition is designed for passionate members of Buckeye Nation. If you don't got any passion,
here's the deal.
Stay home.
Here's what you guys have to really identify. For the premium game, there won't be anything better.
You're saying for the marquee
I'm just saying if it was this year, and it won't be this year, it'll be next year. It was this year against Texas.
Oh,
and you knew you were sitting in one of those seat backs, perched on that suite.
I know
there are a lot of people out there there are a lot of people out there that, well.
How about in the suite? Jeremiah Smith can give you a high five. He might steal a nacho.
I was going to say, are we going to have some sort of a Scarlet Leap or something that you can like fly up into those seats for you?
Goodness.
Like that would be neat. I'm mentioning to Ross right now. I'll add something to your little checklist. Get some sort of pseudo Lambo Leap work in there. See if you can.
I don't think Coach Day wants that.
The Buckeye bounce?
Yeah.
I don't think Coach Day wants to trust the safety and the health of his players and some people that have been down there cracking a few, right?
No. I'm just talking about in the high premium area. Those seats. If you paid $850, you want to get a little
Lambo Leap?
Yeah, you want to get a little of that. You want get a little game-soiled feel.
Sure, that would go over well.
Yeah, how high is the fence here? Obviously,
maybe we do what you say. We get a little Buckeye bounce house working, and we just vault them right in there.
A little trampoline.
Our own damn vault.
You could jump right into your living room in that.
The best damn vault in the land.
Oh, yes. So
get that in there.
Taking a peek around the corner to 2026, the home and home with Texas look like that's scheduled for week 2, but that'll be in Austin, AR. But you do have, obviously, the Michigan game. Oregon will be back, it looks like, next year. Outside of that,
guys, $850 for a passionate Buckeye fan.
The one you're going to want.
Emphasis on $850.
The one you're going to want, AR, is that 2027 matchup with Alabama coming to town. That's going to be the one. Oregon will do numbers next year.
And you could even recoup a little bit if you wanted to sell off the Gramblings of the world and the other ones and maybe at a discount.
Ohio.
Hey, I won't charge you the $850. How does $450 sound? Right? And then we can defray some of the cost. Yeah. Well, no, not them. Us. Me reselling. Yeah.
$850 times 12 is $10,200. So if you have $10,200 lying around and you don't like
but why'd you do it by 12?
So you can buy the whole thing for yourself and have some real elbow room.
That is a flex. I would I'm the type of person that would do something like that.
The other 11 people can be all the Ohio State offensive players. Or you know who really does it? The defensive players, because you know what the big thing is when you get an interception, run down to the other end of the field, they can come hang out with you.
Hey, I paid $850. I'll come out here and launch a touchdown if I want.
Then here comes Schlegs.
I deserve it.
Exactly. You get what you deserve.
Hey, that's part of the game experience. It's a fantasy camp for the fans. You want to know what it's like? I played in a fantasy camp at Old Cooper Stadium years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the 2-day camp.
What'd the stat line look like?
It was pretty good. I had a triple in the inter-squad game.
There we go.
What year was this? Was this
95.
Core 4 territory?
95.
Actually, this would have been Core 4 territory.
There was a pitcher named Vita Blue. He was already probably in his 50s at that point. And we're doing the inter-squad game, and he's just throwing normal. We get to the game before the Clippers game. And he starts firing mid-80s as a 50-some-odd-year-old guy. And the guys are coming back into the dugout, my dugout, and they're kind of complaining. Where was this? What's he trying to do? What's he trying to prove? Vita hears it, comes into our dugout, and basically says, you fools, this is what you paid for. You wanted to see big league pitching? You got it.
Here you go. Welcome to fantasy camp.
It was unbelievable. Got to find those videos, Maddie.
Oh, my goodness.
That's beautiful. Getting wrapped up by the trainer, all that. I had a hammy. You knew I had a hammy going into that.
It's always something.
It wasn't great.
And his arm wasn't dead.
No.
And that is why pitchers nowadays should still be going into the 7th and 8th inning because they can and their arm will be fine.
I don't know about that. Their arm will be fine. Talk to a guy named Tommy John. He'll talk to you. All right, we'll come back. I do want to get to his chat roulette.
Let's save it. Let's save it. We got to let that
three
breathe.
more days this week.
That was a little bit of chat roulette with the seats and stuff. I don't know if we could have offered anything better than that.
We got 3 more days.
Were there a couple teams, Maddie, that made a mistake by passing on a certain player in the draft? This guy says yes. You'll find out who and what next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie? EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air.
Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. It's that time of year where your cooling costs are going to go up because you're trying to cool off your house, but the air is escaping out of your inefficient windows. So get them replaced with Window Nation's efficient windows that'll help you save money on your heating and cooling bills. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027, plus a lifetime warranty from Window Nation. 866-90-NATION to get your estimate today, or windownation.com.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get 1 line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
What a day ahead we have. It is going to heat up as our temperatures climb in the mid to upper 80s with mostly sunny skies, and it'll be breezy. You'll also notice some haze from that wildfire smoke. As we go into tonight, partly cloudy with lows down into the 60s and even hotter on Wednesday. Don't forget the sunglasses and the sunscreen as our highs approach right around 90 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Bet365 time, Matty.
Let's get into it, brother, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Guards in a fun series. Kick it off tonight,
Yanks.
I believe, in the Boogie Down Bronx against the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge. So that will be fun.
Bybee against Rodon.
Okay, here for it. Two really good pitchers going at it. Look, they've got a great new sign-up offer for you guys over at Bet365. And all you have to do is bet $5. You will get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. So hop on their website and download the Bet365 app today. Yesterday, AR, I rolled with one of the best in the sport, Shohei Ohtani, anytime home run. That came through at plus 160. I'm doubling down.
Almost had another, by the way, that would have won the game.
I saw it ninth inning, went to the warning track in left field. Yeah, he's unreal. We all know it. Give me another Shohei dinger, plus 220 tonight against the Mets.
All right, I have my boy Bybee on the hill tonight. He's just so hit and miss. His over-under on strikeouts, though, is 5.5.
Okay.
To ask him to strike out 6 Yankees seems like a fairly big ask.
Real quick, AR, back-to-back outings for him. 8 Ks versus the Detroit Tigers, who are a very good team in offense.
Yep.
And then 7 Ks against the Dodgers.
So the Yankees actually are in the bottom 8 of teams that strike out.
So they don't strike out much.
No, they do
strike out much.
They've got more than 500 strikeouts.
I got you.
And they're up there.
Roll with them.
And the value is there. Over 5.5. He'll be motivated. It is definitely the underdog play. So don't mistake that. But I'm going to do it. Why not?
All right, there you go. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, again, download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
We could just simply keep betting against the Rockies and put them in some sort of a parlay.
They got a dub last night, didn't they?
Yeah, today's the day to do it because they won yesterday.
Now you bet against them,
well, they're playing Miami. So it's like the two horrendous teams. So
I think Sandy Alcantara is like an 8-something ERA
He's
this
been
year.
bad this year.
And he's on the mound tonight.
Coming back from that injury. Now, you're right. It's at 8.47 ERA. Ooh.
You're getting Miami. They're still a big favorite.
The Marlins?
Boy, what if Colorado had something cooking now, and now we bet them at plus 150? I don't think
Not a terrible idea. They're about
It
to
isn't?
go. Well, yeah, it is.
Is one win a streak?
The Rockies are on pace to break a record that's been held since 1932.
What is that record again?
Run differential.
Okay.
They're making history for horrible reasons. The current record was the Boston Red Sox in 1932 that had a run differential of minus 345. The Rockies are on pace to be minus 494.
Got you choked up.
Oh, 494.
Got you choked
Almost
up. It's so bad.
500 in the run differential.
Yeah, they're not doing anything at all. That's what we're talking about outside of how bad the record is. Like AR, they have 430 hits on the season right now. That's dead last in the league, tied with the Colorado Rockies. Guardians are 26th in the league in hits. That ain't good. Got to get that going. But to put that in perspective, the Dodgers lead all of baseball with 551 hits. The Rockies are dead last. Their team average, real quick, since we're doing this, is 217.
All right, back to the NFL.
They play in Coors Field.
Great point.
Just as we started to think that, hey, let's just die down with the Shadur Sanders stuff. Let's just let him kind of work his way up the depth chart. He's on a team where he could win the job if he's good enough to do it, and he probably should get a shot at it. But then we have, this is from Get Up.
This is from Get Up, and this is from Bart Scott.
All right, so Bart Scott had a take on Shadur Sanders and basically saying putting the league on notice.
Production breeds tolerance. His college production breeds tolerance. And it maybe not the first round tolerance, maybe not the second round, but come on, the third round. I mean, come on. The Jets, I mean, you're going to put all your faith in Justin Fields reviving his career, knowing that Jordan Travis potentially was going to retire from football. You understand, if you're the Saints, you understand that Carr is going to retire from football. You wouldn't throw something against the wall in the fourth round. Those are throwaway picks. Half of those guys don't even make your roster.
Not horribly wrong. There's a difference between ripping a team for not taking a chance on him and saying he's going to prove everybody wrong. He's not saying that. I didn't hear him say that those teams are going to regret not taking him, unless he said it later. What I heard him say was that there was enough value once he started dropping that he couldn't believe that many teams that were quarterback starved decided not to take a chance on him.
And it's surprising, too, especially with New Orleans, right? Because there was conversations, and I was one of those people who was like, hey, if they want to take him, where were they originally picking at 9?
But they took Shuck.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Like, it's surprising to me that they rolled with a guy that's much older than Shadur and also has a pretty
25 years old.
And has a pretty bad injury history, too, right? Like, they believe that he's going to be more of a right-now player for them and a better quarterback than what Shadur could have provided. So, look, the Saints are in a whole new era with Derek Carr now retiring, a new head coach, and all that. Hopefully, Chris Olave can stay healthy, but the Tyler Shuck thing is massive, and so he's got a lot on his plate there. And then going into the draft, the Jets had already made a not crazy big, but a decent commitment to Justin Fields financially, and so I never really viewed them as a team that was realistically in the quarterback hunt like the other team in town, the Giants, were. So for Shadur, it's a funky situation to say the least. I do think that he will have his at-bats in this thing, and he just got to do his best to take advantage of them. But it's a lot to ask from him, or, heck, it's a lot to ask from Kenny Pickett. Like, these guys that are going to get thrown into this blender of a funky quarterback situation with a team that, you know, Vegas is telling us they don't expect much from them, but who knows? But, yeah, they got a lot of questions to figure out up there, and Shadur is one of those questions, there's no doubt.
So we'd be lying if we said we weren't surprised the Saints passed on him because they knew about Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah.
I know there was speculation before the draft, but we didn't know. Even Scheffler, like, he thought there was something fishy, but nobody knew that he was going to be done, except probably the Saints. I have to assume that they were pretty much in the know.
That they'd be in the know. Yeah,
or at least he would have told them before the draft.
Right.
Because you added Tyler Shuck to a room that had Spencer Rattler and somebody else, and that's about it.
Yeah, they took Shuck in the second round. Kelvin Banks was their first-round pick with the baby throwing up next to him.
Yeah.
That was that guy. Get that baby some help.
Well, it wasn't. She was holding the baby.
She was holding the baby, but when the celebration started, the baby was just,
with the baby
bobblehead of the baby. I just like, my goodness.
The baby was resting against a nice bicep, and then when that thing started to clap, the head just started to. Yeah. Come on.
Speaking of the Saints, this is where Kenny Pickett needs to end up.
Why?
Really? They don't need 4 quarterbacks. Trade him.
Okay.
I'm talking about from Cleveland's side of things. Yeah. Get him down there. He was with Kellen Moore last year in Philly. They have no experience in that room, as you mentioned, with Spencer Rattler and Shuck in there. And so, if I'm may not be the worst thing if I'm Kenny Pickett either.
Yeah, but you're making the assumption that Kenny Pickett is worse than Shadur or Dillon.
I don't think Shador's far from where Kenny Pickett is right now. I really don't, based off what I've seen from Pickett in the league.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think
there's a drastic gap between the two.
Probably not.
All there is
experience. Yeah. All right, we'll come back in 2 minutes, and we'll be joined by Adam Jardy, the Columbus Dispatch. And it looks like Jake Dler may have taken a Euro step in the right direction. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Did you want information on the Ohio Lottery's Easy Play games? Okay. Easy Play games have everything needed to play printed on the ticket, so you never wait for a drawing. And with Easy Play Progressive games, they can instantly win the game's jackpot, which oftentimes grow and grow to over $1 million. All lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want another commercial? Okay.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
True to his name, Matty Ice wears a winter coat in the middle of summer. He lives the gimmick, man. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, we talk a little Buckeye hoops as they make a little recruiting news today with our friend Adam Jardy, the Columbus Dispatch, who I happened to catch covering the golf this week. Hope you had a good time, Adam. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to talk to you guys again.
Why don't we start with maybe the most intriguing, well, maybe they all are to some degree, but when you get a commitment from what they're calling a highly touted international shooting guard, 6'5", 200-pounder, who now has some experience over there, you tell me, people you talk to, how did they land this kid and what do they have in him?
So they saw him at an NBA youth basketball beyond borders type of event at the NBA All-Star game last year. And that's when he really got on their radar. He was MVP there. He has won a whole bunch of MVP awards in the last year. And I've got, off the top of my head, I couldn't name them to you because it's all competitions I'm not super familiar with. But it does really seem like in the last year and a half, he's progressed at every stage of his career, but that he's played at a high level, whatever level of competition he's been at. And, just a guy that they think really kind of fits their needs and has the potential to really grow. Plays for the same team, Kasper Siakachonis for Illinois. He played for the same club before he got to the Fighting Illini, and not to say that he's going to be the same type of player, but he was the team MVP 2 years ago, and then this Matthew was the team MVP this last year. So very well accomplished at his level for where he's been playing, and now we just have to see how that translates to Big Ten basketball.
Adam, I wanted to ask you about the Dorian Jones situation. I know he, threw a quote out there that said, I won't be enrolling at Ohio State this year, but I look forward to continuing our relationship. What's went into this decision and what type of impact has the Jones party not being part of Columbus next year had on the program over the next few days or last couple of days, excuse me?
So it's an academic thing. Okay. He did not have the grades to make it into Ohio State. This isn't something that just kind of popped up. And honestly, they were sort of holding out hope that maybe something could be worked out. Maybe he could get to a point where academically he could enroll, but it just ended up not being the case. And so he's going to go a prep route and play a year at a prep school. I'm not sure where yet, which hopefully would allow him to get his grades where they need to be and also to get bigger. I mean, he's roughly 6'4", maybe $160, $170. And we've seen that body type doesn't really translate to Big Ten success. And so, I mean, I think a year of prep would do him a lot of good. And like I said, this is a situation they've been aware of for a good while now and been kind of planning for it because he would have been at the back end of the rotation sort of no matter what. I mean, this is a backcourt that's going to be led by Bruce Thornton and John Mobley. It starts and really ends there. So you got a couple of guys fighting for whatever minutes are left over, including the new guy that they just signed. But he wasn't really being counted on to shoulder any sort of significant role this season anyway.
Adam Jardy with us talking Buckeye basketball on Rothman and Ice here. Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fangist Hotline. So living up to your older brother's tough, and that's what I guess Miles Hero is going to have to try to do here. But he comes in. Certainly they had a connection here, right, with an assistant in Kentucky under Calipari. You can kind of fill in the gaps for me, but give me a little take on what they loved about Miles Hero other than knowing his oldest brother is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask my younger brother what it's like to have to live up to the, live in the shadow there. But certainly he's a guy that, he only had a couple of offers. And, I mean, yeah, they were D1, but they weren't exactly high D1 offers. This is essentially a walk-on, preferred walk-on, however you would want to phrase it. And when you start looking at a roster, like we just talked about with what that backcourt looks like and who you have returning, and then you factor in like Gabe Cupps will have a role there. Tayson Chapman will have a role there. Like you've got guys that you're already expecting to contribute in your backcourt. You can't have 15 5-stars on your roster. And you need guys that are going to come in and just compete and play hard and, do all the sort of behind the scenes things that can make a good culture. And I think from the people that I've talked to, that's what he brings. I mean, he's from that kind of basketball family. He knows what it takes to be successful. He's not coming in thinking he's going to be a starter or, even really playing at all. But, you need guys like that who are accepting of their roles. And I think that's what you have here in Miles.
Let's talk a little bit about John Mobley Jr., right? This guy comes in, local product, has the ability to shoot from deep. And now going into year 2, Adam, what are you hearing about what they want from him and how they want him to evolve as a key piece to what they're going to try to do?
Yeah, you just want him to be a little bit more efficient. We saw certainly some of the highs there, and we saw the, inside the gym type of range and all that stuff. He hit a bit of a wall kind of as the season went on. I thought he wore down a little bit. And, those are all pretty common freshman things. And I think what you like when you start thinking about him, his season, and, what could be ahead is, it wasn't that long ago we talked about how big of a deal it was to have a freshman take that growth into their sophomore year. That was the biggest year you would see that development. And so to me, it's just about, knowing the expectations, knowing the level, and now being able to take a step forward. And I think, he's a guy that, he'll be in the gym at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, like getting extra workouts in. Like his work ethic is up there with, I think, anybody on this team. And so I think you expect him to be an all Big Ten caliber type of player because I think he flashed it at times as a freshman, and his role is going to grow this year. So they're expecting big things from him.
Well, and the program obviously is going to start expecting big things from Coach Dler, right? I thought he came in and, listen, they were playing defense. He brought the passion. It made them a better team. He wants tempo. He wants his athletes to run. There's definitely a change. He put his stamp, whatever that stamp is, from the Holtman era onto his own era, but dancing has got to be the expectation. If it was last year, I would think the intensity goes up a lot this year.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I think that it's becoming more and more critical that this team shows that it can put something together. It can make the tournament. It can compete all season long near the top of the Big Ten. I'm not even saying like it's got to make the Final Four and win a Big Ten title outright, but like this is a fan base that is just growing, I think, increasingly apathetic, where they want to see Ohio State win some trophies and they want to see Ohio State going deep in the tournament. And it's been a long time since we've seen any of those things. I mean, we're going on more than a decade at this rate. And so, I think that there's certainly, a mounting level of pressure from the outside as far as where this club needs to get this year. And I think it would remove a lot of pressure and a lot of stress if they're able to get to the tournament and if they're able to be competitive all season long. But I also do know that, like, inside that program, they feel wildly confident about the players that they have. They really believe in this roster, and they believe in the continuity that they have, the guys that they're building around. So there's a lot of internal optimism. I don't know if externally that is being felt just yet.
The optimism, I'm sure, was there last year too, Adam, when you looked at the likes of Sean Stewart and Aaron Bradshaw, two guys coming in from premier programs around the college basketball world. And then there were just peaks and valleys, or probably too many valleys along the way with those two guys. Being around the program, watching those games last year, like Stewart and Bradshaw, in your opinion, why didn't that connect the way that they thought it would?
Well, Stewart didn't really have a summer. He was hurt for a long time, and that really held him out. That limited that development, like we just talked about with Mobley, freshman to sophomore. He didn't really have that developmental offseason, and he didn't play much as a freshman. So, like, you expected you'd see incremental growth as the year went on, and I think you did. I mean, he played hard, and I thought his defense was pretty solid. And he's a great rebounder and shot blocker. He just couldn't stop fouling. And that problem never seemed to figure itself out, and his offensive game was a work in progress. I can't fault, given the time that he missed, you're going to have issues, I think, when it comes to, like, your overall game. And I think we saw that. Bradshaw, same deal. He missed time during the summer. He was suspended and not with the team for roughly a month. He got sick later. He was never the player that anybody thought he was going to be. And I think one of those by themselves doesn't necessarily sink a season. I mean, you were expecting both those guys to contribute. Neither of them contributed nearly the level you were hoping. And you add a Michie Johnson situation on top of that, and him being gone all year, it just all kind of compounded on itself. And so I think that's why it's interesting to me that, they've got Christoph Tilley and Brandon Knoll, guys that they expect to come in, and they have proven that they can be contributors. You're not projecting, what they can do like you were with Stewart and with Bradshaw last year, because as we saw, when you're wrong, it can submarine your season.
Yeah. No, you add it all up, and they're kind of in position to make a jump. Second full season under Jake Dler. We will have plenty of time to talk about it. Thanks for this, Adam. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me. Have a great day.
You too. Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Return starters. They've added a top 100 guard, top 50 freshman forward. They've got the pieces. The pressure will be on. They were so close this year to at least getting in, and now it's no more. I mean, it's never really been about moral victories or getting close at Ohio State, but you are dangerously close to being on the wrong side of any kind of passion that anybody has.
Yeah, I agree, and they've just got to build that trust back up, right, and just build up some consistency throughout the year, especially in Big Ten play, to try to get into the conversation of being, one of the top programs in the Big Ten. And so that's what I'm looking forward to seeing this year's, right? Can they avoid putting themselves in a hole and then trying to crawl out of that late? Because that seemed to be a theme over the last few seasons over there at the shop.
All right, we will come back and tell the truth to wrap it up. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
There's a huge focus in America today about your health, and you're determined to look beyond the pills. You don't want to have surgery, because I know I didn't. So you want to talk to the person that's in pain right now? Well, that was me Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you love, and maybe you've done everything you can. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for my friends at QC Kinetics. They're different. They're not about those quick fixes. This isn't going to be some shot that's going to make you feel better. It's not a surgery that's going to put you on the shelf. They're about long-term relief. This is regenerative medicine we're talking about right here. Your own body's healing properties to heal the damaged tissue at the cellular level. QC Kinetics, they've helped tens of thousands of people, so many of them right here in the Columbus area and across the country. They'd be honored to help you just like they helped me with my knee, just like they helped my dad. Here's what they're going to do. They're not going to mask the pain. They're going to go to the source of it. So go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus to see if you're a good candidate, or give them a call at 380-28-4544. They've got offices in Dublin and in Gahanna and newly in Canal Winchester and Grove City.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling, 1-800-COOLING.
Bob Yoakum, president of Rockford Homes, explains why he banks with First Bank of Central Ohio.
Anytime you're dealing with a local bank, it's about being able to pick up the phone and talk to real people. That is a huge pro. You know, when you get into these bigger banks, that doesn't happen.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Listen to this. Wouldn't this sound nice? Clearer skin, better posture, improved digestion, better sleep, and more energy. Just a few of the endless benefits clients have received with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, let's wrap it up. Take us home, big fella.
All right, well, hey, we got a little bit of breaking news in the sports world. You know, not often is it the case, as I try to, hold on, let me adjust my mic. All right, now I'm ready. This thing.
What's wrong
man.
with that thing?
I don't know, but I'm ready now.
All right.
Now, it's not often the case where you see a coach or a manager get fired after making it to the Final Four in their sport, but this is now a couple times this has happened in New York City. We saw it with Joe Girardi after the Yankees made the ALCS, made the move to Aaron Boone. Now, Tom Thibodeau has been fired by the New York Knicks after they just were appearing in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, tell the truth, is this the right move?
AR, I'm surprised. I really am surprised by this. A thing that's been out there for Tibbs is that he runs his players into the ground.
Yeah, he relies on his starters way too much.
He does. And I wonder if this is the calls coming from inside the locker room with this. That maybe Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, the stars of the team, are like, we don't want to keep signing up for this. It's tough. Like, it really is tough when you're a star player. You have to play 40-plus minutes a night and all those things. But the success was there, and I thought they were headed in the right direction with him. My mind goes to they've got their eyes on Mike Malone, former Denver Nuggets head coach who won a championship with Jokic and the crew over there just a couple years ago. I think he's a Jersey guy. I don't really get caught up in all that stuff. To me, that really doesn't matter much. But if you're going to go away from Tibbs, you cannot replace him with a guy that hasn't been there and done that. And so I would not be surprised if it's Mike Malone or if the Villanova boys throw their weight around and try to get their coach to come out of retirement in Jay Wright, which I think would be a mistake. But I am surprised that they fired Tibbs because I didn't think they needed to make any drastic moves this offseason.
Probably not. Probably with what they did and what they accomplished. Brunson saved them a lot. We know that. He's a defensive-minded coach. And when I saw the stories a couple days ago that even though he got them back, you would think, and that's why you're right to feel surprised by this. You can't have that type of season and feel like the coach was a problem. But sometimes taking that next step, getting to the next level, that you have to make a move. Listen, Dolan's never been one for being too level-headed when it comes to coaches and things like that. But I think there's some inside stuff going on here. They relied so much on those dudes. Those 5, Bridges, Towns, Brunson, Hart, OG. I mean, they played so many minutes. Not many teams can survive that way. So maybe this is just the next level thing. And I don't know what it is. It does sound like that they tapped out on what they could get out of this team this year with him. And we thank you for your service, and we wish you best in your future endeavors.
Yeah, and they spent a ton on this roster. You bring in Cat. You give up all those first-round picks with Mikal Bridges. You signed Brunson to a big deal, even though he took less. They were never going to, I think, change the players and the core of this team. But this is a big-time move, and now you're asking another head coach to come in and figure out these pieces and at least, at minimum, get this team back to the postseason, because anything short of that would be an absolute failure with how good their core is.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
Shout out to Gino.
Anthony, tell the truth. We have Mark in the YouTube chat who wants to know where you got your hat. He likes your hat. Play bad fast.
This is first of all, it's a Little Turtle special. So, but it is a company.
I do like
it. What's his name again?
Mark.
Okay, Mark. It is a company called Branded Bills that I'm actually possibly going to create maybe a new rendition of a Hockey and Hounds hat.
Let's get some show merch. Come on.
And so I can find you one probably, Mark, if you go ahead and email me off of the page or off of my Twitter page or whatever.
Slide in them DMs, Mark.
We'll try to find you one. But, yeah, this is the one I actually got up at the club at Little Turtle.
Mark, and you can send a tip this way for mentioning that.
What did you do today? I got up and came to work. There's a show. That's a show.
AR, was there a wedding at Little Turtle this past weekend?
Could have been. Okay. We have a lot of them. Okay. I wasn't here. I was at a wedding in Chi-Town.
Oh, there you go.
10-piece band.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think some people that I may know had a wedding at Little Turtle this weekend. But you weren't there, so maybe Mad Max will know.
Yeah. Were you going to crash it?
No. Okay. I wasn't gonna cry. It's a long story.
It doesn't sound like you were there either.
No, I wasn't there. Like, I know these people. They're not friends. They're kind of associates. And I think.
Wait, what the hell does that mean? They're not friends. They're associates.
Associates is like you have like a high-by relationship with somebody. Oh. Like, you're not like hanging out or texting or doing all.
That sounds like they work for you.
No, an associate friend. No,
I'm not saying it wasn't me.
My private, that other business I run. He's an associate.
Sorry, I got us off track. But I think there was a wedding at Little Turtle. That's all.
It's a beautiful setting.
Is inside the NBA's move from TNT to ESPN a big deal?
Doesn't seem like it, because it sounds like they're keeping everybody the same. And if you read it correctly, they're saying we're going to go hands off like they do with McAfee and allow them. I mean, listen, is it weird that, Shaq drops an F-bomb at the end, like, for effect, and then Kenny follows him up with another F-bomb? Like, okay, they're who they are. They have a license to steal now because of who they are and how popular they are and how much they're liked. We'll see if ESPN lives up to it. The only track record I can see is what they've done with McAfee. They put the disclaimer on it. You're going to hear some words that maybe you didn't buy in for. And these guys can kind of run the way they want to run. So I think it's probably, as long as they were all staying together and keeping the band together, just moving them networks, it'll be very similar. The show will be.
It will be very similar. You'll have the appearances from Stephen A., and that'll add some spice to it, and Kendrick Perkins, because I know Perk and Charles and Shaq, those guys have gone back and forth from TNT to ESPN and all that. ESPN just has to let those guys be them. That's the magic of the show. That's what has pulled in even just the casual sports fan to hear what these dudes are going to say and do. If they get that and give them that creative control, then I think the show will roll on as is. If you try to filter what they do, I think that's where you can run into some problems. With the stick in the box.
All right, final one. Did you like that one?
I thought you were still talking. I wasn't sure.
That was not from
today.
It
was a seamless ad.
What was I talking about?
You were talking.
I don't want to know.
You were talking about baseball, but it didn't sound like baseball.
Oh, boy. With the stick in the box.
Caster Connection fan poll. I'm sure they'd love to be dragged into this.
Jack in the Box.
If you were the Cavs brain trust, would you move Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen for the Cooper Flag pick?
Or if it's Justin Timberlake, it may be something else in the box, but we'll leave that alone. No, I can't move Donovan Mitchell. The only piece that I think should be moved is Jarrett Allen at this point. I want to see Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley could do. Jarrett Allen's a good player, but the playoff stuff just bothers me.
Oh, yeah. You cannot. Mitchell, forget it. He's untouchable.
No, I agree. Anything else over there that you got?
I just got the Justin Timberlake joke. I was like, what?
See, a little delayed.
No.
He got it.
He's a little slow, but he got it.
I forgot the Lonely Island angle of that.
Just, don't Google it at work. Before we go,
What was the Lonely Island reference?
That's who we did the song with. I was like, because I knew what the joke was, but I'm like, what is Justin Timberlake?
The other guy in the skit, I think, is who he's talking about.
Is that not Andy Samberg?
Well, that's Andy Samberg's
okay.
music group.
Oh, I didn't know he had an actual.
Yeah.
I know him from his name.
Yeah. I don't think he's that funny, but that's just me.
That's kind of how I feel about Will Ferrell, but that's a whole other take
pretty good
for a whole nother day.
Wow.
Hey, before we go, if you miss anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up wherever you get your podcast. All you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Our podcast is sponsored by Bet365.
All right, we'll come back tomorrow at high noon and talk to you then. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
With the stick in the box.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. It change is more exciting. I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Leslie, what's that hot lamp against your window for?
Pella windows are tested up to 160 degrees Wilson to ensure efficiency and the lowest energy bills possible, even in the craziest of temperatures. Put your hand on there.
All right. God, that's hot.
On the window, Wilson.
Oh, hey, that is quite nice and cool. So I'm going to go grab some ice now.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for innovation at PellaColumbus.com.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. We'll say that again. Real, hand-dipped UDF ice cream. Pick your flavor, pick your mix-ins, or try one of our featured recipes. And get an ice cream quake made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice cream quakes, new from United Dairy Farmers.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Hey, look, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Say hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
You know what I love the most about your store?
What's that, common man?
The way you treat people. You get to know your customers. That's why they keep coming back. No sleazeballs around. Just good, clean boys and girls selling jewelry.
Stop in and see the difference for yourself.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com. It's where Columbus gets engaged.